Hey guys, yeah, welcome in. Friday afternoon, couple hours until the weekend, couple hours until we get to put this week to rest. But what a week it has been for not only tech specifically, but the NASDAQ still holding on, even with a bit of a pullback here today. We're back to flat essentially on the day itself, still holding on to a really nice gain, remember, for the week. The Dow and the S&P, meanwhile, back in negative territory here to kick off the final couple hours, 0.5% for the Dow. It's basically flat for the S&P. But yeah, positive once again in the afternoon. We're seeing a little bit of tech strength coming through, coming into play anyways. TSX futures here in Toronto, a little bit lower, 0.76 to end the week. Crude oil down 2%, 7% upside for Bitcoin, 4% for Ethereum. It's been a crazy week, not only for stocks, but for cryptocurrencies as well. All kinds of volatility. All about the banks once again today. There's FRC still dealing with a 23% decline, despite $30 billion coming through from the big banks yesterday in the form of deposits, remember. So they are able to invest that money, but not necessarily going to shore up the company. So a lot of question marks remain. TFC, Zion, KeyBank as well, 7% to the downside. They're all here. It's been a very, very negative week, obviously, for banks. FedEx, 8.7 to the upside, meanwhile, coming off of a decent earnings report. This is the tech group. Not a lot going on. I mean, some moves essentially offsetting each other, leaving the group overall pretty much unchanged. The clean energy names, a few people were asking about these yesterday and why they were so negative. Here they are again. ENPH, 8%, SEDG, 6%, and First Solar there, 3% to the downside. There are individual names trying to offset things here, but 0.8 still. That's board needs to be updated, it would appear. So we'll have a look at how things wrap up as far as the week is concerned. Yeah, if you missed it there right at the end of the midday show, they were talking a little bit about this SIVB. There's still more coming through on it. So we'll try and sort this out, make sense of it all. But essentially what I'm seeing at this point is as of the end of the month, so the 28th, shares are going to be delisted from the NASDAQ. What happens after that to the assets remains up in the air. There was a note during lunchtime as well, considering or hinting to the fact that Bank of America might be interested in picking up some of those assets, if not the entire thing. So we'll see if anything more comes out on that. I'll keep you up to date. Let's jump right into what we were discussing. If you're with us in the pre-market this morning, it was a busy morning. We had more economic data in the form of University of Michigan sentiment that came out at 10 o'clock. That kind of set the tone. After that number came and went. Back to the downside, the overall market went as well. Sean's going to lead us off this afternoon with a look at one of his trades from this morning.
Hey guys, it's your trade of the day, and I just sit here and keep watching this. I just keep getting more and more upset that Meta refuses to break 198. We're going to talk about that in just 1 second, but it's your trade of the day, and it's brought to you by Day Trade the World. Make sure you scan that QR code below and get your trading journey started today. So look, here's Meta here, 198. The thing about this with being your trade of the day, let's go over to this side, we talk about it real quick, is these first greens ticks here, because purples are shorts. So whenever you're seeing me or Neil, or I don't know if Arun has them as purple as well, but we generally are going, well, we are going short when you see these kind of ticks. But we started the day long on Meta. Why? Because Meta broke above 200. First of all, it's very, very choppy here off the open, so we let that sort of settle down. Our first trade on Meta is not until about 10 o'clock, when it feels like, you know, VWAP is here, the 200 periods here, sorry, the 200 periods there, the 50 period and VWAP are right there. And I'm just thinking like maybe we can hold the 200. So I'm like, you know what, let's see what happens there. And as you see, backs up, we get $200.50 long, then we break 201 long, and we're like, okay, let's see if this works, because we know that Meta yesterday, and if you can see this tick up here, we got to 205 on just a straight line into the close, battling from this 198, which we're going to talk about break right now. We're going to talk about that level, but all the way straight up $7. Why can't we just repeat that right here again? But once we fail at the 200 period and start to make this move down, that's where we flip the script ripped on Meta, right? So it comes back to the downside. Now we start looking for shorts. Our very first short is when we start to break this 199. So that comes down in, then we start getting 198.50s, and there we go, 198. Why do we take 198s? Because we have this bottom right now from yesterday of 198. But now look what happens. It comes right back up to 200 again. This blue line, of course, is 200. This bottom line is 198. Break. You better break right now. So rate, I'm still in the short. That's why I'm cheering this on. So anyways, every time it keeps coming up, we get stopped out one time when it barely breaks there. I don't know what that stop out was all about. It seems like it was under 199, but maybe we were using VWAP. Could have been a mistake. We go short again, comes back down, rips back. Like, look, getting all these out. So this is a 200, 199.50 short. Some of these outs, 198. Like, they're great outs. So we're making multiple dollars when you add it all up, when our risk is really only here, high side of 200. So these are great little risk to reward trades. Short again, 199, short again, 199.75 against 200. We don't have any exact 200 trades. Why? Because if it's gonna work, I don't really want, that was pretty risky there. It broke 200, but only went to $200.10. Our stop was slightly higher than that. It comes back, I don't like it, because again, the market's moving around. I was like, how many times? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times. But now there's the break. So we finally hold. We take one last piece there. We should have reloaded it again at 199.50, but we're waiting for this breakdown. Why am I not bidding there then? Well, the thing is, if I bid and get out, or even if I hold a small piece, I still don't have it on. So we're waiting for this break, which is happening right now. And there's the 198 break. So this is what exactly we wait for. That break right here happening live right now as we go. So I'm in this short. We just touched down 197.50. I still think we can pull down to 196. The idea behind this trade is we were initially thinking long off that 200. We were able to get out of there with just one small loss, and then we've been hammering this short since we've seen that 200 hold as resistance. So it's your trade of the day, and as you can see, let's go. Hopefully we can get down to the downside. My next bid is near 196.80. We'll see you then, hopefully Meta, and it's your trade of the day.
Quite a pullback. Yeah, 3.5% downside now for Meta. Still a pretty good week overall, not only for Meta, but big tech in general, all of which were on that once again. Meta and Microsoft, not all of which, but Meta and Microsoft, we're on that this morning. Great resource every single day for free, guys. Worth signing up. You get it right to your inbox. This was the note I was mentioning there on SIVB. So this was coming from Bill Ackman, was tweeting about this. So Bank of America, quote unquote, he's hearing is interested in buying up some of at least whatever's left of SIVB. The other side of that story, again, if you're just joining a little bit late, March 28th, it will be delisted from the NASDAQ. Whether or not that means it ends up on the OTC market, whether or not it's just dissolved, remains to be seen. We'll maybe talk to Jeff Mendel over at OTC to get his take on whether or not he sees that happening coming up next week. We'll ask him about that. But I wanted to show you this as well, because BTC making a move back downside right now. Kind of rejected 2,600 or 26,000, I should say, 600, and is rolling over a little bit once again on the hourly chart. Same story for Ethereum. Came up, tested 1730, 1740, trying to roll over. Both still green on the day to the tune of 6.8% right now. In fact, for Bitcoin, there's Coinbase up 10%. We'll get to that in a sec, but let's kick things off with some of the chip makers. We had them top of the list this morning based off of what happened yesterday, to the simple fact that AMD was so strong and the entire group led the entire NASDAQ. In fact, took it all on its back and led it higher by the end of the day. NVIDIA with a couple of upgrades today and a couple of positive notes from analysts. So chips back in focus today. They end up being kind of a choppy sideways trade.
And I think you would expect, well, I guess you wouldn't expect it, but I guess it shouldn't be that surprising given how we are going into a trading session, coming into the morning anyways. We're going into a trading session where it's going to be a lot of indexing. So a lot of buying and selling from a lot of big names and some in large ways, right? So NVIDIA being a top name in the NASDAQ is going to have some interest for the opening imbalance and for the closing imbalance now for what's left of the rebalancing portion of this. So expect a lot of activity, and I think a lot of these stocks are starting to go sideways. Well, NVIDIA did try this morning to continue its rally. It got above that 62 overnight high. It got as high as 64, lost traction, fell off, couldn't go lower either. So here we are kind of stuck right to that, not right to it, but we are off a little bit, but we are pretty much revolving around that 260 mark, which makes me think, options, rebalancing action, are we just waiting for that 330 activity point where 330 programs turn on, 350, you get the rebalance information on what's going to happen. You already, depending on what your sources are, you can already get an idea of what the rebalancing numbers would look like for individual names, but we're not going to get into that. But at the same time, it's going to have some influence on how it trades intraday up until we get to that point. Then, we go from 0 to 100 real quick once we get that 350 info. So all stocks are going to start flying off the handle here. So if you haven't traded rebalancing days, it's one of those things where do your thing until you get to about 345. At that point, if you don't have the rebalancing information, even if you have the rebalancing information, these stocks sometimes come in the opposite direction of what you're expecting them to do, right? If indexes are expected to purchase X amount of shares of this stock, they could be oversubscribed and they come out on the opposite direction. So that's a possibility as well. But NVIDIA obviously clearly having a good day, revolving around that 260, looking for that imbalance move in about 350, which is just over an hour and a half away. So here we are waiting for that. Market's waiting. Individual stocks are waiting. AMD has been making its moves. If you're playing for the scalps within the small ranges, absolutely. If you're playing for some sort of swing move, you're not getting that today, not yet anyways.
Man, gold is loving this move, man. I'm sure glad we bought some Barrett gold. We had Michael Noss on a while ago, and I was buying GOLD. You can check out GLD today, and it's flying right now, up another 3% right now. Gold taking out highs. Congratulations, anybody that's been on that trade. I've told you guys we bought some Barrett gold about that 1650, so that name working out right now. AMD, the #1 stock on the show today, profit-wise. There we had that really good bottom break of long there of 96, all the way up 98. $2 winner right there for that, so that was a good one. Then we got caught trying to go longs again on the upside of this. Once those didn't work, we got out of the way. And ever since we got out of the way here at 97.50, out of some of these 97.80s, 98 longs, take a 50-cent hit right there. All these purples again have nothing but shorts. So we got a lot of love for the short here today. AMD short again off all of these things, man. This is the 50 period, the VWAP, the 200. They're all right here. And I was sort of adding to my, again, sort of repertoire here and just saying, like, trying to figure out when we're below on all three of these indicators is when we really, really like these positions, which is why we're going short again there. It does take out 97 and we get out. So then we're flat because it's choppy. Then it blasts up here to 97.50. When that happened and it retraced all the way back down, I started shorting again against this VWAP of 97.10. But that was working, but not great. It's only this last fill that we just took against this high that is working back down. So again, a bunch of like ins and outs here, some wins, some flats. We just kind of screwed around with this around 97. Wasn't very profitable. Then we finally get patient and wait for a move all the way to the upside right there. And that's what we take back down. So it's a nice move to fade back down in right here, but still we wait for AMD to drop even further now as it looks like it's trying to break down through 97 and the next couple ins here or outs, sorry, 96.84. We are short, as you can see at the bottom right now, 97.38 off of that high. So that's a short at 40. We're going to get out if it breaks 60. That's 20 cents. So right now we're 35 cents in the money. So whoops. So that's what we're trying to do right now is take this to the downside. We've got lots of trades on board right now. The newest one is Palantir. We just put this on again. Look at Palantir starting to break. We have a 94 short. I was just I was taking 94, so I only have a half position because I did have another offer here at 96. So, you know, this is a half position for me, but still, look at it drop down. I've got another bid here at 88. Hopefully we can get that filled pretty soon. And then we'll see. It just hits 88 and bounces back up. But we're going to sit there as Palantir to the downside. Look at the future starting to break. Also, I know we're going to talk about Meta eventually, but look at this one right now. This is the money trade, man. Do your money dance right now because Meta is flying downside. So does that mean it's tanking? 97.10 right now as the bottom. We are now $2.50. We've got a sniper beside me here, but we're just like carpet bombing all these stocks right now. And this is a big one right here, man. Nice move to the downside. We're saving this bomb for later. Let's see if we get a 97 fill, and then we'll keep this going to the downside. $3 in the money on Meta. I like ye.
All right, let's talk some banks here. FRC back on everyone's mind this morning when we sat down after what happened yesterday, if you missed it. All kinds of funding coming through from the big banks, JP Morgan leading the way. They're all involved to the tune of $30 billion in deposits for FRC. So a lot of people were assuming that that was going to be a positive for this thing. But here's 25.5% back downside. Wasn't very exciting or volatile. I mean, this is $4, I guess, as far as top to bottom range is concerned, but just a steady grind all day long.
It's like this, where they got some news going back a few days. You've got all the action up at 95. You got all the way down to 40, just bouncing around. And then you got the overnight move from the 80s all the way down to like 20. And then you got a ton of action. When you get back kind of overnight activity, the first few days of the news cycle on a stock, that's where you get all the activity. You want the momentum runs, that's the day to do it. Once you get past that and more information starts coming out, things start tightening up. Now everyone can adjust and everyone tightens up their algos and what they feel as value. So now as the market has tightened up on FRC, you're not seeing the same kind of action that you were used to a few days ago, right? So as this is starting to tighten up, you got to look at this chart and go, okay, how can I play this from the technical perspective? Now, if this is a 30-minute chart, I'm looking at this going, yeah, 20 is there. Okay, we've been underneath it, but I still think 20 is there. And we're also seem to be not perfect, but there also seems to be some sort of trend line pushing the highs lower here. Every attempt up seems to be a little bit lower than the other one. So at some point, are we going to press to these 20s? I think that would be the next easy trade to look at for FRC. Just because of the way it's been trading. It's going to be, your expectations on a day like today, what day was this? The 10th. A day like that is different from a day like this, where and you see how it's been moving around. You're like, okay, now we got to go back. You got to change gears, right? This is one of those get out quick moves. And then you can do that for a few days with all the scalps and the halts. And now, as it tightens up, you got to go back to your technicals and be like, okay, where's the break point on this? It's compressing against 20. Odds are it's one of two scenarios. One, they break the 20 to the downside, crack the lows, and move back down wherever it wants to go through the lows there. Or two, it's a false move. The 20 actually ends up holding up well. They break the trend line, catch everyone off guard, and then flies right through the top and maybe back towards those 40s. So that's one to watch here, but definitely you got to slow things down. When a stock like this has gotten a few days under its belt, it's going to slow down, and that's what you're seeing here on FRC.
I have just canceled my Meta bid. Forget that noise. Let's see if it just goes to the downside even more here. We are now $3 and still counting here. Well, almost $3, basically $3. If we break that 197 down to the downside here off this 200 short. So we're still holding on to this Meta. I did have a bid there, but I just canceled it. I just tweeted out I was going to put a bid at 197.05. I hope that doesn't somehow be the bottom, because then that would look real bad that we put it out but then didn't take it. Let's just let this go, because the more I look at Meta, I mean, we've already failed. We've had huge moves to the downside here. To the upside, recently on Meta. Can we have a repeat of this, but the other way? That level right there is 196.25. So I'm kind of thinking, like, for the next stop, I mean, you're right there at this top, which is 197, which is why we've been looking at it. But that little bottom take right there is like I was just saying, 196.20, 196. Yeah, 30s, something like that. So I think that's where we can put our bid. I really hope that we can get down there, because then I'm going to feel horrible for missing that. But at the same time, if we go back over to a 1-minute chart here, whoa, I got to take off those lines. That is, 198. So if we retrace back, maybe we get out on the 50 period move to the downside. But still, it's still coming back in right now. Let's see where we can go. Maybe 197.50, which is where we dropped out on. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to say, I wasn't going to get out at 197 flat, 05, whatever, right? But now that we're not getting out on that number, let's give it 50 cents downside, which gives us that 196.50, roughly where we want, or back up and we'll take another piece out. So what about that? If it breaks 197.50 upside, we'll take a piece out, just a piece, half of what we have left. And then if it comes back to the downside, we will take that 196.20 or whatever that level was on the 3-minute, 196.30. So I'm just going to put that bid in right now. I don't have any fills at all on FRC today, but I mean, Arun just talked about it right there, so there's not much to go on other than what you guys, what Arun said. There's some key levels there. I thought that this 26 was going to be pretty key, which it has been, and I still consider that it is. We haven't really broke below it. I mean, sure, we're testing 25s right now. I just think that heading into witching today and heading into a weekend where there's going to be headline risk, of course, for the name, that's what it is. It's headline risk. So when this pulls back down right here, I think you want to get out if you break that 24.50. So if you're long right now, I'd be getting out at 24.50, but it's all set up, man. We're below all these lines we're looking at. So I would say a VWAP break is the only one that you're really looking at, and that's 27. So I'd say 27 long side there, or if you're already long and you're looking to get out, I would say this break of 24.50 probably sends us back into this 2021 area, and then you're dancing with the devil because at 350 everything's going to go nuts. Like, I honestly, FRC, I feel like on a witching day when there is just so much upsized volume, it's a perfect opportunity for anybody that's holding the bag, maybe millions of shares, to dump them, right? Kind of inconspicuously, where you don't affect the market price. It just happens at the close. But we all know, because of the show, that you have 10 minutes there where all hell's going to break loose, because that's when the data becomes public. So I would say sort of strap in on FRC, and if it breaks that bottom, I would be getting out. So those are my plays right there on FRC as we continue to watch AMD bouncing a little bit. AMD's at a good level here, 96.90. I'm going to put a bid out and take that bid at 92 if we can get it here. Of course, I put the bid, but we'll sit there at 92. Hopefully it fades back in. I'm on ARCA. Hopefully it will print there, and then there it goes. One more move down. Come on, dog. Oh, it didn't fill me. That's okay. Hopefully it comes back in. We get that fill at 92, and we'll move on from AM. Well, we're still in AMD, but we'll get a piece out of that one. But let's go back over to Brendan now. A name that I'm not in, Mr. Microsoft, strong one today. Look at us holding up that 92.
Pretty impressive week. I was just double checking, guys. 12.25% on the week for Microsoft, still holding up here a full percent in positive territory after a nice day yesterday. Really no significant news on this today, but it's worth mentioning as far as the NASDAQ is concerned. It's been these names that have been leading all week long.
You would expect that, right? NASDAQ's the largest weight, I believe, is still Microsoft. Microsoft should be still the largest weight in the NASDAQ now, instead of Apple. I believe they rotated.
No, they rotated. You're right, because
unless they rotated back. I don't know.
No, they can't, because Microsoft is up more since you've been here than
There
Apple.
you go.
Yeah,
okay, so Microsoft is still the leader in the NASDAQ in terms of weighting. So you get Microsoft moving, you get Apple moving. That's 25, I think roughly, very close to 25%. That's a quarter of the NASDAQ 100 in two stocks. You get two stocks moving like that, and there's your weight in the NASDAQ. So to the upside, you go. Overall,
it's so close, dog.
Is it really close?
Yeah, come to my screen here.
12.6 and 12.2.
You don't have to, Brad. We have the number.
Yeah, 12.6% for Microsoft and 12.2% in terms of weight for Apple. So they're very close together. They share the title pretty much to the upside, or in terms of weighting. So regardless, you get both of those names moving up together, you get an index move in the NASDAQ as well. So as you can see, that represents almost 25% of the market as a whole. So here it is. Here's Microsoft. Here's the thing with Microsoft too. That rally yesterday that started at about 10:45, was it? It was, yeah, that was 10:40 when they were near the bottom there around 263. Non-stop rally. Pretty much it was well, I guess there was a stop. There was a little break. It took a 15-minute break. So 263 up to 266, took a 15-minute break, and then went from 266 all the way up to 273. Straight move, especially the second leg of that. And since then, it's still moving up. It's obviously not moving up in that fashion. That's an easy move to the upside. But now a move like this is where you start developing levels. And this is what you need when it comes down to developing levels that you can work with, right? You see the highs getting put in around that 284 mark. That's going to be one. You know that bottom from the afternoon session sits around 274. That's the second one. Market's heading down, so Microsoft's also heading in the same direction. Odds are Apple's also going too. And these stocks have had the run, and now you're getting into a day where index names have activity to be done on the close. Now, I'll get into that later on. when we get closer to the imbalances. But there is index activity in all of the major names from what I've read. And from what I've read so far is that it seems to be, again, this changes. This is just like something we know that could be a possibility, but then when you get the actual information, it's going to be, they could be oversubscribed and be in the opposite direction. But from what I've read so far, it does look like there's some selling expected in Microsoft, Tesla, and some of the major players. But like I said, big asterisk there is that it could be oversubscribed. So we don't know for sure until we see that 350 figure. So we're expecting something on the sell side, but it could be too many buyers there, and they could flip that number to a buy side move on Microsoft or Tesla or whatever. But good trading here for them to develop the levels that we need for future trades. Forget today. For future trades, this is a good thing that we're experiencing today with the market only being up 0.8% on the Microsoft.
Yeah, there's some talk there about Amazon. And yeah, we have, the damage is already done for me on Amazon there. We went long early and then we went short late, and there's the short right there at 100, and then there's the cover. We actually covered it a lot lower than where we are. Well, not a lot lower, but at 98.20 right there. We covered that at 10:45 on the show. It did continue to go lower to 97.50, but it looks like Amazon right now breaking downside as well. And since we've already talked about the chip names, see ya. We just got a beautiful fill down there at 75, or what was that fill? Let me see here. 80s. Yeah, no, we're sitting at 80. So right there, 80 on AMD. So that fell down. So we're getting a lot lighter on a lot of these positions. Our Meta's not really doing too much. And then I know Palantir's not on the board, but we just got an 89 fill there on Palantir as we wait for our next fill down here at 88. But starting to get a little bit lighter here as the futures are, well, yeah, futures are going one way and it's down right now. So let's just hold on to that. We still do have our Meta talk happening here as that's bouncing around. But guess what? Meta's up next on the board, Brendo.
Nice week anyways. I was just double checking again. Still about 8%, guys, on the week to the upside for Meta, even with this move back downside. Yesterday we learned of more job cuts. Got some comments even from Zuckerberg, who addressed staff as 1,500 HR specifically employees were laid off. But yeah, day lows and more coming, it would appear. Almost 4% here for Meta, guys.
All right, Meta's been, for me, a pretty easy trade because we never really had to worry about getting stopped out here near 200 bucks. I mean, it did come up there a little bit, but only tested about $200.10 or so. My stop was at 2.25, so we didn't get stopped out. But again, it was early, very, very choppy today, right? You had a huge move in the afternoon yesterday, just absolutely out of nowhere, I felt like. I was like, astonished. I couldn't even believe this move right there for Meta. But again, that high right there, 205, I thought there was a chance we could get back there as long as we stayed above 200. So we started early with some of the longs, and then late's just been short, man. Short off 200. That's where VWAP is, and there we go. We are now $3.30 in the money on Meta, and still short this name, but looking at this level right here to get something out. So we are very, very close. This comes back to yesterday morning where we bounced and then we bounced again. We've already got some out. I mean, this is why 198 was so key. We just did the trade of the day now 20 minutes ago, and I was begging for this thing to break 198. Now you're looking at 197. It's 196.80 right now. So it's a lot lower than where we were just 20 minutes ago. And I think we do see this level. So I'm being a little bit patient with it, obviously, as I don't hold trades this long normally, but it's Meta, it's downside, and I'm just like, hey man, let's put on our hat and hold this a bit if we can. But I just saw we just double down tick there at 196.50. So you know what? I'm going to put a bid right now at 196.60 because if we could just get that and then let the rest fall down, that's fine. Like my bid was at 30. So like right now, when you're $3 in the money, like to squabble over 30 cents, I'd rather get the fill and then be upset that we got the fill than have missed the fill. Because again, what do they say? 2 birds in the hand is better than 3 in the bush. You heard of that before?
I don't know if it's 2 and 3 though, is it?
I don't know what it is.
I know the term.
But that's what I'm going with right now because you'd rather have 2 in your hand than 3 over there.
Isn't it 1?
No, because you'd always have more in your hand than that's over there. So I think I'm right. I just don't know if the ratio is right.
Yeah,
but that makes
1
sense.
and 2.
Oh, 1 and 2, whatever it is.
Yeah.
You could be 5 and 7. Either way, we're going to put that in there. Yeah, there it is. 1 in the hand, 3 in the bush. I don't know. Yeah, so whatever way it is, whatever way you want to talk about it, still means the same. Let's make some money on the trade is the idea there. So we're now $3 in the money. We just bounced off 56. I want to take that bottom. I mean, we could take 75 right now and then go 1.5 in the hand and 2.5 in the bush. But we'll just wait for that to see if this comes down. Now we're 10 cents away. So let's get that, man, and we'll celebrate it. Again, I don't want to steal the pew. This is a good one. It's a nice move to the downside here for Meta. Let's get that out right at that tick, and then we'll work on the last little bit. Hopefully I can cancel my 197.50 fill as long as we get this. Do not do it. Do not go. Do not stop now. Just give me the fill, and let's go, and we'll move on with Meta. That's my thing. Coin is up 10%.
Yeah, let's go to Coin.
Yeah, let's go to Coin. Why not? Let's talk a little bit about, I'll show you this. I put it on there simply because of this, guys. Yeah, it's a positive day, 6.8% here for BTC. Thank you. As I was mentioning, 26,400 coming into play, 6.8% right now for BTC. Ethereum kind of hanging out, really not doing a heck of a lot. But yeah, Coinbase still hanging on to a 10% gain. Really no news or anything causing that other than a nice positive couple days here, it looks like, for crypto.
Yeah, it was consolidating, made a late session break. That was that 67 that I was looking at yesterday. We got that break very late, so too late for a trade, and then gaps up. I'm like, okay, you know what? Maybe we can get back into that area, catch a bid. No. Coin says, no, we're going to keep going up here. And it's been straight up, and there's no way to catch this unless you're willing to go for even round numbers aren't even working. It's one of those trades where you see it happen, you're like, you have a pretty good eye on the direction of the stock, but yet you can't catch it because it won't give you the right read. And here it is now knocking on the door of 75 to the upside. It doesn't look like it wants to slow down. And I mean, why should it, right? It hasn't really broken. The trend's been strong. It really hasn't broken to the downside in any meaningful way. Apart from the initial move down this morning, I thought it'd be a little bit deeper than just 70 or just below 70. I thought we can get into like 68 half, 68 even. No. Here we are sitting at 75, about to break the highs. What is the high of the day here? 75.11 is the high, and we're looking to make a push towards that right now with the market near the bottom and trying to double bottom here. The overall in the S&P, Coinbase is just saying, no, we're going to keep going up. And this is one of those trades where technically, once you get the read on it, if you can swing, I know it's hard to kind of swing a Bitcoin and whatnot for some of us. Some of you guys are daredevils. But in terms of just like overnight positions in Coinbase, when you can have Coinbase or individual names that can be very, very volatile, especially in random days and random times, to see this breakout happen intraday and then be able to participate, and that's the trade you want. And I think that's what you got to keep an eye on, marking off levels, coming back to them if the market does fall back into it, like Coinbase, if it does fall back into it. But for now, good strength on coin, still looking towards those highs, and it's doing the complete opposite of what the market's been doing, because the market's been going down, Coinbase has been steadily going up, and it's not going to stop anytime soon, it seems like. But yet, rebalance day, what does that mean? Does it even affect coin? I haven't paid attention to the relationship between Bitcoin or just overall coin stocks versus rebalances, because I'm not sure what the relationship there is, if there is any. But definitely, Coinbase is still going to be one to watch towards the end just because of volume, right?
Yeah, so the thing is that I do think you can always short Coinbase, but if it's going to move with Bitcoin, then I mean, Bitcoin's at 26. I mean, Brendan just showed that a little bit right there, Bitcoin being at 26, 27,000. And if we just go with like a 6-hour chart, I mean, it doesn't really matter what we're looking at right now, but as long as you hold that 20,000 and then again at 25,000, I don't think you want to be short anything. I think you want to only start to get short Coinbase once we break back down below 25, and then looking again here, because if it's going to run with crypto, then you are exposed over the weekend, because I feel like we can continue this move higher if we go now to a daily chart. I don't think this move is stopped here for crypto. Again, if anything, you have some bunched up levels here at 30, so I think we get to there, and it could be over the weekend. We talked about that as it's a 24-hour market, so let's see what happens, especially once I mean, China, Korea, all that, like there's so much trading in Bitcoin that I want to see where we go. And I just think it's a risk to be in Bitcoin over the weekend, or sorry, in Coinbase over the weekend short or long. I mean, it's an intraday trade and that's a good one there. Up 10% is unbelievable. AMD, we are taking a little bit out now, but now it's finally starting to fall. I was just wondering if we were just holding out at 97, so we take a 93, but there's the fall down. And then I'm disappointed, but not really, because there's our out on Meta. So yes.
Awesome.
We actually took 75s. It did go down. We could have got our, well, actually we would have not got 60s, but you know, while we just threw it over there, we just took a 75 fill because again, it was just bouncing around. I said, now let me just bid 75. It did run against us, so you know, whatever, but now it's going back up to the upside. So we are now virtually flat on it. We just have 5% left only of this meta trade. So we did pretty good. We held 15%, got out of 10 right there for a nice win. And now it looks like we want to take out some high side moves. I was thinking about this level right there, 197.50, the 50 period. We've respected it all the way down. So let's just get out if it breaks it one more time, 197.50. And then we're out of everything, man. The only thing we have left is Palantir. And that one's kind of sleeping right now. We've only been able to get 90s and 89 once off of a 94 short. So far, so good. All right, we can wrap that up. We'll wait to see when Brendan comes with any news on anything about Coinbase or anything like that. But I'm just going to put my order in for Meta right now. That's 197.55. So let's just up it a little bit and go 197.60 or so to get out of Meta. But that's all I'm working with right now. I will try to find some more trades. I do want to go into Microsoft or Micron or Intel or Nvidia or something like that, because we already are in AMD, and this is really starting to work now to the downside. We're short 197.40. And look at the ratio again on this. We are going to get out at 60, so it's 20 cents worth. So that's why we really started taking these out, because again, that's 97.40 short. When we're getting out at 97, that's 2-to-1 ratio, and now you're at almost 4-to-1 as you continue to move to the downside. So if you're an R-to-R trader, this is getting to be pretty interesting. You don't ever get too many 5-to-1 trades, so 4-to-1 pretty good. In order for this to be 5-to-1, it has to go $1, which would be 96.40, which is right here. So let's try that. I'm going to put another bid at 96.50 just to get a piece out, because hey man, if this is going to crack into the close, we still want to have something on board. Wow, man, we went from having our absolute actually, at one moment today when we hit that Tesla trade, we were at our worst spot all month as far as our worst day. And now we're green. So that's the kind of day that we've been having today, from Redville to like, what am I doing? Well, like, I have no idea what I'm doing off this Tesla trade right there into now Greensville. So we turn our frown upside down. However, Arun, the market definitely stays red. And that's where you got to have the ability to sort of play both sides of this market. Don't be afraid to be wrong one way and flip it over the other way. Yes, there it is. Another fill for me right there on Palantir as we took 88s right now.
All right, Steve, this is for you. Nat gas doing nat gas things, right? It broke through that 234. It's now looking to come back in. I think it's very hard to step into nat gas. Now, from the contract perspective, intraday-wise, it's very hard to just step in and start working with levels, because nat gas is so hot. Go figure, hot and cold. Because the way it's been working is that, you know, you have to identify much larger, if you're going for intraday plays, much larger structures in nat gas, and then try to time the entry so that there's a momentum push on that specific structure. What do I mean by that? Let's just say double bottoms for nat gas here around sub 240, right? Around that 238 and change. What does nat gas do? Take a quick move through there. It runs about 2.5, 3 cents, which is still about, 25, 30 ticks, right? Remember, nat gas doesn't trade just in pennies, but in thousands. So it moves about 25, 30 ticks, instant turn right back into that. So you have to play the initial push, and then when it comes back in, you have to somehow figure out a way to structure it, and then go for the secondary push as well. So it's a little bit more complicated, especially the way it's been moving, and I expect it to be this messy, I guess, to say the least. March and April it's the months, right? It depends on weather, it depends on those overall weather patterns and activity and volatility is higher at this time of year, especially in nat gas. So you're seeing moves there. You're seeing crude also participating in energy as well. I think crude's down 2 point something on the day.
Oh yeah, I gotta change that K.
Yeah, it's a K contract now. It's the May contract. Crude rolled over, so now you're looking at the May contract. It's down 2.22 on the day. So nat gas making moves. Let's take a quick look. I know most of you guys aren't looking actually at the contract, so I'm going to look at UNG. Some of you guys are in the levered contracts as well. I'm just going to go straight to the nat gas fund here, which is UNG. And this is a little bit more clear to work with. The problem with this is not really an intraday trading candidate because, I mean, it started at $8, went as low as $7.70. It's still down 6.5%, same as nat gas is, but you're not getting the same kind of, I guess, volatility as you would want. So if you really want to swing something for multiple days with not as much volatility and don't want to be levered, then I think UNG is an option for you to play nat gas. I know you guys like to play boil and cold and all those levered ones as well, but for that's down 12.5%. Boil is, and I'm sure cold is in that group as well. So multiple options for playing nat gas, but again, volatility is going to be higher in the energy sector at this time of year. So just be aware of that as we do put in new highs and lows. And at this point, with 241 left, 241 with just over an hour left before we get rebalances. Let's just give you guys quick numbers, whether this makes a difference for you or not. Well, you'll find out at 350. I mean, we're expecting something. It could turn into nothing, but at the same time, it's good to be aware of what you're expecting. So specific indexing action, you're looking at SIVB and SBNY. We already know that. Those aren't really trading right now, to be removed from the S&P Bank Select Industry sector. SI, which is still trading, is expected to be removed from the S&P Regional Banks Select Industry sector. So that's one to watch. And then on top of that, they've also decided to take off KeyCorp, Comerica, so Key, CMA, FITB, FCNCA, and PNC. All of them are going to be taken out of the S&P Regional Banks Select Industry. So it's a very specific, it's not even just overall broad S&P 400, it's a very specific sector that they're going after here in terms of removing some names. And overall, they're looking for a decent amount of activity. You're looking at about, what was it? It was 10, I had the number yesterday, it was like 20-something billion in overall trade activity. Where is it? Right here. The bank sector has roughly about a net buy of about 1.5 billion. So you're getting activity in the banks today. There should be some movement in the banking sector. There should be some movement in the software and services, right? Some names go up. Pharmaceuticals are going to be hot today. And then media and entertainment is expected to be sold big time. Expected. Doesn't mean it's going to happen that way. We'll find out if it does happen that way. But media and entertainment is expected to be sold in a big way, roughly 2.4 billion worth in the media, on the media and entertainment sector. And going to the big dogs, this is where it gets messy because we have the number. We roughly have an idea of which direction they want to go with it, but it remains to be seen if that's the direction they hold at 350. So roughly, they're expecting some sales in Google, Apple, Nvidia, Meta, Comcast, sure, and then they're expecting to turn around and do some buying in Broadcom, AVGO, Amazon, Tesla, Microsoft, and those are the big ones. Those are the big ones that you really need to pay attention to. We'll see if that's actually how it comes out. Knowing that is one thing, but then actually seeing it happen at 350 is completely something else, because there's been times where we've seen this and we're like, oh, we're expecting this, and then all of a sudden it's a complete opposite direction. And you're like, what happened to that sell? What happened to that buy? So we have it now. We know there's going to be activity. At the very least, we know those names are going to have activity. We'll go find out at 350 if they do.
Good call. Yeah, that's perfect. Thanks for reviewing all that. I mean, that's exactly what we're talking about here. Knowing more information is all that you can do, and then deal with it when it does pump through. And we'll show you all of that at 350. So stay tuned for about an hour from now, and we'll show you guys those the imbalance locator, as Arun was just talking about it there. And it's going to be a good trade. The guys behind us are always excited for it because it's a liquidity event, right? So it's something here on a prop floor where you can sort of lever up your positions and you know, try to bank on some of that So we'll discuss that more as it comes through, because there's still an hour to go, but we have a new position alert, so let's go on that one right now. We'll hit the new position alert button, which is that. And by the way, you know what? I've said this for months. We are working on new animations. And the thing is that you saw the hot dog cannon yesterday. The walking on water is in the building as well. I saw that one coming through, so that should be back very, very soon. But we're just going to ring some damn registers right now because we just took on another short. Look at this Microsoft short. I told you we were going over to Microsoft. And that's exactly what we did. So there's the short right there at 20, and there's the out at 80. So in 5 minutes, there's 40 cents right there on Microsoft. I have no idea why the professor calls it Microsoft. I'm going to ask him about that. But there it is, downside. What I call it, the original Mr. Softy to the downside. And those of you that have been watching for 2.5 years or however long we've been on, you guys know this is Mr. Softy. It's my favorite name to trade, and it is a downside push right now on Microsoft. Again, a strong name into a weak market, fine by me. This market, I don't think can hold this right now. We'll see if it can have that move like we did yesterday, but I still think we test the bottoms today, and maybe we fall out of that. So we are now well below the 50 period. I like the short on Microsoft, and we'll just take 50. I'm going to take this again. I mean, it just came in again. Let's just take another bid here at 68 if we can. If it falls back down, we'll take that fill. Nice little bounce off that. Okay, no reason for that to bounce. I just saw like an instant move down there. And whenever we sort of flush like that, well, we actually got a fill. We got a fill at 80, so it's okay. I'm okay where we go now, but I should have taken that 60 fill. And if we are going to be specific on Microsoft, I mean, this is a great fill. 277, 277. 25, something like that. I'm not going to look back and be upset. We already got out of our Meta, which is fantastic. And look where Meta is right now. It's all the way back to 60s. This is the level that we were bidding last time. And as you can see, it's been holding. Now it's not. There goes Meta to the downside. So we're $3.50 in the money on Meta. We just put this on. This is 40 cents in the money. It's Microsoft. Our AMD now, man. Let's go. Let's get those bear claws out right now because AMD is now $1 in the money. And this is 5-1 on the risk to reward. So I'm going out with the wife tonight. It's date night, baby. The kids are with my parents. It's all good. And we're going to go see Hamilton. Should be a fun time. Have a little bit of Japanese on the way in there. And it's going to be fun. So a little bit of, pre-date dinner. And we're getting enough money here to pay for that. So that's a good one here as we enjoy St. Patrick's Day here on the show. And happy St. Patrick's Day to everybody out there. Celebrate it with your family for sure and your friends. And definitely make sure you drink and behave responsibly like both Arun and I would do every day. So, yeah, that's it. So there we go. Now Microsoft's coming back in. I'm bidding 68 again. And did you see what that just stopped at? 68. So let's put something here at 70. You know, let's just market that up. Okay, there we go. We marketed it up into 70. We took out some 67s there. So instead of a 70 fill, we get a 67. Sorry, we get a 67 fill on a market order to 70. So that's good. Now we're pushing back down, man. Good trade here on Microsoft. Mr. Softy. Boom. There it is, man. 70 cents in the money. So we'll ring that every day when we make these kind of trades. So there it is right there. Nice downside push here for Microsoft.
Yeah, a lot of stocks are probably going to be pushing towards the lows, I would think, as the market is pushing towards its lows. I mean, we're about, 4 points off the lows here on the futures market. We had a few trades. We did have a few trades on the futures today, but it's been messy. I mean, I had one this morning. Where is it? Why can't I get the chart? There's one earlier today. This morning where we played the long side before we broke, and then I tried to go for the long midday, got nowhere with it. I'm just like, okay, I'm done. I mean, I just got in, made a couple points, or not even a couple points, a couple ticks, and then walked away from this one. There's one window of opportunity, which is, I think, what this market has become is the windows for entry are very short, and if you don't get them then, they're gone. That was my window of opportunity right here when they broke through that 70, and now they just went through. Now they're just kind of chopping it up right in the middle here, and that would have been the trade, right? I mean, if you were on top of it, if you got the fill, I sent the order, never got the fill, but that would have been the window for an easy trade on the futures, and that's what you're going to get in this market, right? We saw this yesterday too. A lot of choppy action, and then that 35 break on the futures right here around 10:45, 10:50, and then it was gone. right? And be prepared for situations like that in this market. That's what this market has become. So you got to be on top of your entries, your timing of your entries. At least with some stocks, you get like a second chance for re-entries. But most of the names, they just take off and they just leave you behind. Well, the index itself takes off and leaves you behind. So a couple names that I could be looking at towards the end. If it's not too late, I don't want to position in knowing that there's a rebalance coming. But if there's a potential trade here in snow, if you can get underneath 134 and stick around, I might get involved in snow. I'll give you like maybe like a 20, 25 minute window to make this happen, Snow. If you can get back underneath 134, I'd like to play on the short side here. And then I would like to actually get out of that before the rebalance happens if I'm fairly flat. If I'm deep in the money, I just want to see what happens. Maybe I get a Snow imbalance that's negative, and this one actually draws to the sell side. So I am going to be keeping an eye on Snow here. I've got the alert. I actually just reset the alert here, and we're waiting on that one.
Wow.
And then Airbnb as well, potentially. Forget Airbnb. Never mind.
We ain't forgetting about Mr. Softy right now because we are just stink facing this one, man. We're at 270. I said, would 277.15 be a damn good fill? Like Microsoft right now, we just put this on. This is $1.20 now in the money. We just put this on for Power Hour, and it ain't even Power Hour yet. There it is, a huge move down for Microsoft and well captured by us. You guys in the chat were like, hey, man, we need some trades. I'm here for you. There it is right there. A nice trade to the downside one more time for Microsoft. There we go. We'll do the heavy lifting there on Softy as there it goes to the downside. Great look there off this consolidation and then the break lower. I just stood there and took it. I mean, didn't even matter to me. I was going to take more, obviously, against some of these numbers there. We talked about that trade when we had it. So good trade there for us on Microsoft, and it just continues to go lower. I mean, now it seems silly to get some out there, but we're still in 40% of this as it continues to go to the downside. So there it is, man. We're now $1.20 in the money. I mean, what up? What's up to everybody? What's up? What's up to Beat Fanatic right there? What's up to Doge Cult in the chat? Everybody who's in there, man. Shout out to anybody who's, hey, take profit. I like that. What's up with everybody there in the chat? Thank you so much for joining us this week. It's been a great week to have Arun here. And man, have these profits been flowing or what this week? I'm like, honestly, from Deadsville to where I am now and, really trading quite well has been an amazing turnaround for me today, and I hope that you guys are having something very, very similar. Now Microsoft is $1.30 in the money, and we just put this on as this goes to the downside. Palantir, thank you so much. That's a downside move. But you know what, on Palantir, we were waiting for 45. Actually, we'll wait. Let's just wait for 85. Sorry, 45s. Let's just wait for 85s is what we're waiting for here on Palantir. So that's a trade that we put on for you now. You could have had that at 2 o'clock at these same prices, but I put that on at 145. Nice downside move. This is why we're looking to get something out at 85 right now, although we just touched. I'm going to put something at 86 if we can get some out at 86 now because it just failed right there, but that's still fine. All right, where's Microsoft now? Bouncing off some of these lows. No, I don't. It's fine. I want this to go to the downside. We're really feeling it right now. So let's just keep this going here right now, man, from worst to first, we'll take that over and over and over again. Let's go Microsoft to the downside here on the day. So I don't know, man. Just keep on taking the trades. For now, is it responsible to take some out? Yes. But then I do think that there are days, and this is not YOLO or anything like that. It's just, maybe there's a lot more of a move to happen here with these imbalances coming through. So honestly, man, this is exactly what we're doing. We're just going to let this thing fall down. We have a small piece. We only have 10% of AMD. It's Microsoft that we're concerned about. This is what we have 40% on. But again, some good outs. And it's not like we're going to let this turn into a loser or anything like that. So Microsoft right now back upside. We could take something out at 278, which would suck. But I'm saying that, and it would still be a nice win. So let's wait to see what happens here with Microsoft as it's climbing right back up. But that's a good out at 277 down there. Wow, these stocks are just pretty volatile right now.
Sean, you might want to take a look at the FRC casino because that's moving.
Nah.
That's moving,
I'll
all
look
right.
at it, but that's a dangerous.
Yeah, that's, it's not my cup of tea, but we were talking about this earlier, right? Are they going to compress against the 20? with that downtrend in effect. And it looks like as of right now, yeah.
We just called that though.
Yeah.
We both called that move down to 20.
Well, I was saying like they're going to compress. It's either going to break through the upside compression or they're going to take a shot towards the 20s. I mean, we're at 25 where we just broke to 23. There's still a chance we catch a bid, but at the same time, whether it would be surprising to me if it happened today, because that would have been, I would expect it to happen maybe on Monday or Tuesday, but I mean, that's just based on the angle of movement. Means absolutely nothing. That's just my guess, right? But based on the way it's moving, I mean, it could happen today because that could get hot if they can merge this, like the way it's trending, right into a rebalancing portion too. Because we've seen some activity, we're expecting some activity on which one was it? SIVB and SBNY in terms of indexing action. I mean, obviously they're not open, so that has to be done wherever they're going to do it, given those stocks are suspended, or at least SIVB is, or SVIB is. FRC is still trading, and this is like a sympathy move too, right? Like, is this in trouble? Are people going to be like, oh, it's time to get out of this too? Let's just use a rebalancing day to do it. That's going to be the answer I think we're going to be looking for. Imagine this comes out. I think that's a very good question to find out, or the answer to at 350 is, what happens if the FRC imbalance is big to the sell side? Like, is everybody and their mom going to jump in on the short side on FRC? Because I can see that being a very viable trade to the short side. It's already at 32%, so we're sitting on a SSR. But at the same time, it'll be an interesting trade, or just overall interesting to see a rebalancing action on FRC. I think that'll be more exciting than anything else. Forget the Apples, forget the Teslas. I think WAL, there was a super chat about WAL as well. WAL, these individual names, these banks that are still trading that all of a sudden might have some indexing action. Right. WAL is going to the upside, so the opposite direction to what FRC is doing. But WAL was hot for a day or so, and then it was this day. It was the day we went to 750 and then turned all the way up to 25. Since then, it's just been very, very choppy. I think if you want to play in the casino to be played is going to be the FRC casino, because that one's got the volatility. At least it's showing the volatility for now. It's compared to a few days ago, it's not as hot, but at the same time, to go from 25 to 23, if you're playing the momentum game, you want that 1-2 quick bucks, to $1 or $2 quick dollars, then I think this is the casino to be played at. For me, it's just to watch. I'm just going to watch you guys play it because, yeah, that's not for me. But I will definitely be watching for sure, especially at 350 when we get those rebalance figures.
Yeah, so you want to talk about casino? This is me today. Here I am. This is the casino. See ya. Let's go into that door. You can't hold us back around here on that. So there we go. Shout out to the Godfather in the WWE right there. That's one of my favorite gifts, and I got that from Luca. Luca was showing the Stone Cold gif, and I was like, yeah, that's a good one. Let me think about something to use for our midday there, and I just got it right now. You talked about getting in there. So all right, one more play, man, on Microsoft. Hello, right back up to the 50 period again. There, like straight line down, straight line back up, following the futures almost to a T. So you know what, man? This is where, remember we were talking about AMD being 5-1? Well, this trade was that, and we did take advantage. It was more than that, and we did take advantage of that right there by taking some out at 277.15 for that dollar. But right now we are getting close to tapping out because if we take out this high right there of 60, then we're gone. So we're going to be short at 30, out at 60, 30 cents worth of a shot there. So we'll take our first out for 30 cents if we can get it back down here at 278, and then we'll just work with it after that. Like hopefully it tanks down and we can hold it, and we'll kick that door in again on that casino. All right, so that's that play. Here it comes. Let's go. Just give me that fill. Did we? No, we didn't get it. We're at 04. Pretty much, I don't know, just ahead of 278 randomly there again. So hopefully we push down on Microsoft. But we are well aware that if these futures want to hold out for a little bit, then yeah, Microsoft probably does go back up. There it is. Yes, sir. So, I mean, someone just said that Sean's making the market his you-know-what. And honestly, today, this afternoon, and it's been basically all week, we don't have a negative day this week. We have one, or maybe we do, but we have one this month. and it's just been a great trade. I love this back and forth in the market. You know, you're getting big moves. Like today, the short's been pretty clean. As long as you've been staying on the short side of things and waiting for pullbacks, you know, you've been able to hat that short, because look at the market, nice pullbacks. And again, just there's been very hard longs. Although this last little bit at 12,600 seems to be a pretty good long. And I guess maybe I'm biased because I'm only looking short. I guess if you guys are long out there, you tell me, because I'm sure there's lots of trades that are printing on the long side. But look at Meta, nice little bounce back for Meta. I'm still at 197.50 for the last little break spot on this one. But here we go, man. Microsoft, let's go. Do the dance downside. I got to adjust my stop now because we just took a piece out. But hopefully Microsoft can come back in. This time, if we go to 50, we'll get it out. But I don't think we'll be there by the time we get back from Brendan. So let's throw it now, and then we'll wait to see what this market does in the next half hour.
Hey guys, 60 minutes to go until we get to the weekend. And we are, I mean, we're still chopping around near day lows here, but it was all about the banks once again today when we came in, sat down. Fears over the contagion and what's going to happen maybe over the weekend even for some of these regional banks specifically, even with this funding coming through yesterday for First Republic, FRC, SIVB, meanwhile, officially filing for Chapter 11. NASDAQ comes out and says this afternoon they'll be delisted then on the 28th from the NASDAQ. No, nothing further on that as of yet this afternoon. NASDAQ Composite, meanwhile, 0.9 to the downside, 0.68 for the 100. Still 1.5, 2.7, 1.43 there for the Russell, 1, 2, and 3,000. The Dow, 1.3, 1.2 there for the S&P. So we are going to end the week, it would appear anyway, to the downside on the day. However, still holding on to decent gains for the week. Saw a note on this one, Man U. Maybe we'll finally get to put this story to rest. 7:30 tonight, apparently, there's going to be an announcement regarding Man U and a potential sale. So that was that big volume spike right as we were dealing with a rundown this afternoon. GDX, meanwhile, continuing its move this afternoon. Gold on a pretty amazing move here so far this week, all the way up to 31 there at the high for GDX, up almost 6%, guys, trying to get back to day highs. Back over to you.
Amazing. I was going to look at that. The only way to, I mean, we can't, I know we might have physical gold on here as a futures. I haven't traded it forever. So the only thing that I know here to look at actual physical gold, which it's not really, I mean, don't at me for this, but the GLD right now is the Spider Gold Trust. So whether or not it moves exactly the same as gold or not, I don't really know enough about it, but there it is right there. We've been buying up Barrick Gold since 1650 and talking about it on the show. I think it's 18 and change today. So it's starting to move around there, but here comes gold coming right back into some of those highs again. 192 made back in February of 02. So you're, sorry, 22, 22. So yeah, no, is that in jeopardy? I think it is. So we'll wait to see right now where gold's going to continue to go. But now you're just breaking out of its recent highs right now. So yeah, gold working for sure. We'll check out Barrick right now quickly because I'm in this name as well. 1820. So that's what that sort of was thinking there. So it's a nice little pullback here for Barrick on the day. But yeah, so far so good there if you're trading gold. I don't really, you know, now it's more of like something that you would have, you know, waited to hit certain levels for. Right now you're kind of in the middle here for Barrick. So I'll just stick with these short on the tech names that I have right now and just work on it from there. But Barrick Gold and gold, very nice to trade and moving quite well as well.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't really looked at GDX in a while, but it's
That's
nice
the
to
miners,
see. Yeah,
right?
it's
The
the miners,
GDX,
and then GLD is the other one. The miners, I mean, that's what we tend to look at initially, but it's been sideways, right? And then you see a move like this. It's like a lot of this move is all today, right? Like it's up 6% on the week, but like we're up 6%. I'm looking at the miners specifically. We're up 5.5% on the day. And what have we done since Monday? Essentially, we gapped up. I guess it wasn't all just today, because over the weekend we gapped up. That gap does count as part of the percent up. So it was Monday gap up run from about 20. We closed at around 27.40. We gapped up, opened around 28.40. So we gapped up $1, went up another 60 cents, and then pretty much went sideways. And then today we come in and we complete the consolidation break to the upside. So continuation move, and then we're up at 31. So on Monday and Friday, we go from 27.40 all the way up to 31, and then throughout the midweek. So if you came at the beginning of the week, did nothing, and then came at the end of the week, There's your move in GDX. It's a great move to see too, because it usually the market's been in a weird spot where gold and the market has been moving together. So to see gold go back into a position where it is a safety asset, so when the market moves down, gold does go up. It's interesting to see that relationship change again. So it's definitely setting up something. And let's take a much bigger chart look at GLD. Again, this is the gold trust, right? Now let's take a look at the daily here on GLD, and you start to see the breaks that's bringing, right? That 182 was that high going back to about, what is that, February 1st? Yeah, so 182 would have been the high. We made that quick move this week, break through that high. Now you have a nice little support base. If it were to come back down to 182, you're like, you know what? I have some support here to work along on. So if you haven't been able to participate in this move in gold and you want to, maybe a potential dip buy opportunity at that 182 is on the table there if you can get it. If this market does come off a little bit, or at least gold comes off a little bit after running so hot today, if it does come back, there could be a dip buy opportunity for you. Once it clears, at least from the GLD perspective, once it clears this 188, there's nothing really up top. Like, we can go to a much larger time frame. Like, let's just go to the weekly here, and you see where that 188 looks, right? It's near the top end of the highs that you're going to be putting in from March of last year, and then also from August of 2020. You're starting to get into that kind of territory here in gold. And if it's running this hot and can break that, look out above, I guess. Not look out below, but look out above on GLD if they can crack through all those levels to the upside.
Yeah, I really like gold there. So, okay, our last reload is not, I mean, we've been talking about gold for a bit here on the show, so a good one. There, shout out to Michael Noss, who brought my attention to it, as well as Rahim Alani from OCI Group. They're talking about gold. We are very close to being stopped out right now. I mean, Microsoft's coming right back up to the upside. So, again, this is why, man, we take profit. Microsoft's going to be a positive name for us, right? So you got to just sort of like take it where it lies. And I put another bid down here once we saw that. Now we're going to get, I mean, we're going to get stopped out in just a matter of time here. So we did take another fill down there. We took one at 05 or 05, yeah. And then once I saw that fail right there, I know it's a little bit hard to see. Maybe if I zoom in a little bit. Once we failed right there at 278 on that wick, and then we just started ticking higher, I put another bid right here. I'll feel very lucky if this can come back into 278 right now. So just as a little bit of a, not a warning or anything, but that's what I'm looking at right there for a fill to get out of that trade. So I'm just not doing too much else. Meta's getting close. Again, I'm just, and I know we're above all the lines, but we only have 5% left of this, so I was going to wait for 197.50. That's sort of where we put that order in the first place, so we don't have to worry about that right now as we're flat on Meta virtually. We still do have the position. And then right here, I'm just kind of reviewing some of the trades that we already have on. I mean, Palantir, if you want to fall down in again, like I just put in 87 and I paid for it and it just ran me over. So right now good. We are bidding 86, as I was going to say. Like to see if that fill. Okay, but there's the push again. You see 12,600 on NASDAQ right there? Like we just wicked down to it and then bumped up 15 handles or more than that, almost 20 handles, almost immediately. So yeah, that's what caused that little Palantir shakeup. And then Microsoft, guess what? I mean, it's not like it's a money fill, it's only 30 cents. But you see, that's why you got to have these orders pending. Because like if I don't have a bid there, then I don't get filled. So like it just tanks down there. Now I can adjust my order on Microsoft because now we just have just that much less. So again, each one of these are 20% out. We do have a reload, so we have a better position on right now, and I'm still trying to give it that 60s. So now we're short at 40s again. Out at 60, that's 20 cents worth of risk. We just made 35 cents. So we're already at almost 1.5, 2 to 1 right there on that trade. So far, so good here for Microsoft as that continues its push lower and lower and hopefully even lower. AMD right now as well, that's a trade that we have on board. Uh-oh, what just happened right there? for us. Meta. Okay, so right there, just like something just got taken out. So it's Meta. We'll go awesome, but not really. I'm really glad that we got the piece out right there at 96.75. Look how low that went, man. That went to 196 flat. Now everything is starting to pump back up to the upside. So as you can see, there goes Meta right now. Nice move back up. 197.60 here for Meta. So that's moves happening. We don't have that very bottom, but Meta, again, my number one stock today is AMD, followed by Meta, and nothing else really making a run at that right now. I mean, Microsoft's good, Palantir's good, Tesla's bad, Amazon's bad, and that's the only thing we traded, and Google's flat. So far so good on all these stocks. As we're getting close, man, it's only 320 right now. There is a big imbalance happening today. It's triple witching, not quad witching, as we talked about that on the first show, and I think, I don't know if you mentioned it now, but it's no more single stock futures.
Yep.
We've been calling it quad witching since we started the show.
Yeah.
And I know you have as well.
It was a conversation that we were having in the pre-market.
Yeah.
It was like, well why is specifically one TV show calling it triple witching? It's like, And I looked into it, and it all had to do, apparently in 2020, One Chicago, which handled all the single stock futures, is no longer there. So now it's just index futures expiring, index options expiring, and stock options expiring, with single stock futures no longer there. So for anyone who's trading single stock futures, sorry for you, but at least the other three are expiring. So going forward, since 2002, I believe, up until 2020, it was quad witching. Going forward, it will be triple witching with this market. So new things for all of us. I haven't heard that term, because that was, well, since I started, it was always quad witching.
Yeah,
now
same,
it's triple witching. So there we go. With this move happening in this market, yeah, a lot of stocks are moving to the upside, futures market moving, and I see you guys talking about Coin as well. Coin finally getting through that 75 break to the upside, and still running strong. Coin hasn't stopped at least one bit. We were talking about this in the rundown here, where it was a gap up, and then it wouldn't even get close to that technical breakout point, and then decided it just wants to kind of gravitate up. I don't know. It just is moving in such a way where you can't get involved. You're like, oh, maybe I want to go for the 75 break, but it was just compressing against it. And I wonder if this is a stop run, because when you get something like this, let me just zoom this up. You get something like this where it's like that, and you get some sort of move. I'm sure all you guys that know technical analysis have a name for this. I don't know the name for this. I just see it in terms of, what does this look like to me? It looks like they're compressing against the level. Usually when you break a level like that, you get a run. And that's what you're seeing here to the upside on Coin. Brendan.
Just seeing a note here on Roblox. Really wasn't doing anything on this initially, but little delayed reaction, possibly coming in some volume back to the upside. They were talking about AI-powered code completion, now available in beta in Roblox Studio. So again, bit of a delayed reaction, possibly.
All right, don't tell my kid that, because then he'll be over there trying to figure out what that is and starting to code against it. Yeah, Roblox, 44 bucks. I mean, it's, oops. Okay, we'll talk about that in a second. I just want to talk about Microsoft real quick. So we just got stopped out there, but it did run up to 80s. So our stop out at 60 was good, but there's the run up to 80s, and it's looking to take out 279 as you take out that 200 period right there on the minute chart. So I'm not back in this name. I just want to tell everybody that. So we're not into Roblox, we're not into Microsoft again, as it's trying to go a little nuts. Like, look at these moves that are happening right now. Like, it's kind of freezes because there's so much activity right now. I don't know. I feel like a lot of the volume is coming in right now on some of these things as they start to move around. Meta's on a little bit of a run now too. We just got out at 197.50 there and back up. I like that Roblox, and I was just looking at 44 on Roblox right now. So let's have a quick look at that and see if we can do something there. All right, so far so good. So there it is right there. Nice run to, nice run to the 200 period. That's why we're looking at 44. But again, nice little sort of, not really a cup and handle, but we're kind of forming it right now. $44, nice upside move. I still think you want to short this name. You're down 2.5%. I don't want to go long on any name that positions out like this. And what I mean by that is like, we're still down 3% on the day. That news doesn't seem, like Brendan said, maybe a late mover. So if that can get us up here to 44.50 or something, that's where I'd be a little more interested in this. So 44.50 right now for Roblox. Definitely something that maybe we could look at, but it's got to get up there. That would be that high, or even into 44.30, which we're not too far away. So that could be a play that comes in eventually. But I prefer the short up here at 44.50 rather than 30. Wow, Ford is down another 5% today. I don't know what I mean, I know they had those battery issues. I'm invested in Ford long term, and around these levels, we've been buying some 11 dips. So look how this. You see if I just put it up here so you can see it on the bottom. I know that that's in the way a little bit there, but yeah, like look at these bottoms. This goes all the way back to basically a year ago. I mean, we were so high up on Ford, and I'm just gonna call it the Rivian dance, because I don't know why my chart's not loading anything here, but Ford went all the way up to 25 or something as Rivian was becoming public, and everyone knew the kind of percentages. I don't know what it was, 15 or 11. Them and Amazon both had a stake in Rivian, but then as Rivian kept getting crushed, so did this, all the way back down to 11, and then we made a nice move back to the upside, and since then it's really gotten hit, man. $14, $15. I mean, this is kind of where Ford was like years ago, so I don't know if Ford is the company that we all think it is anymore, and I would still like to buy this name, but I think I'm going to give a little bit of a rest to some of my new capital and not put it into Ford, as it's coming back down to a level right now where we should have got out. We went to the 200 period, but again, trying to buy some of these names that have potential to run in this next sort of cycle, and I don't know if Ford's the right name. EV continues to be a problem, and the only one EV winner appears to be Tesla right now, as Lucid, Rivian, I don't have to tell you guys this, you're all probably invested in some of these names, are all at their bottoms, and the only one that's really been holding up quite well has been Tesla, and still is even today at $180. So what was a nice move off the bottom of 100, Tesla, although I know we can show the charts, and I know it's not the greatest stock of all time or anything like that, but it is holding out well as opposed to some of these other names. Tesla.
All right, I'm going through the chat there, and there's a question, technical question, regarding using trend lines. Do I use trend lines for confirmation of breaks? Here's the thing with trend lines, and now I draw them too, but I don't draw them perfectly because I'm not too caught up in the idea that the trend lines need to be perfect, because it is such a subjective thing, right? Everyone sees this chart, or let's just say this chart because there's a trend here, and we'll have a starting point that is different. Some people will start right here, some people will start right here. At the end of the day, all I really care about, and you could probably put a moving average on this as well, and there's so many different ways of approaching a stock that is trending. Obviously, you want to jump on board when a stock is trending, but at the same time, what you want to understand is around key prices. If a trend line is sitting near, in today's case, or in this example here, if we're on a downtrend and you've got a trend line like that looks like that, right? For the sake of drawing it like this. If a trend line is sitting here at 184 and everyone's looking to respect this trend line, if you break the even number, expect that trend line to be broken too. And that's where the subjective part of it comes in, because everyone's like, okay, well, maybe we'll draw it in a different fashion, we'll change the angle, whatever. At the end of the day, all you need to know is this stock is in a stepped fashion down. That's all I really care about. At some point, this will break, and that will confirm to me that it's not just going to break the trend line, but also usually when it does break, it tends to do it in this way, where the trend ends, where it keeps going down, and then it goes sideways, eventually breaking the trend sideways, not with a complete reversal. We don't see it often where it does this and then complete reversal. If you see that, that's a very aggressive move. That's a V-shaped turn usually, where it's an aggressive move back towards its high point. But I think for trend lines, however you draw them, just be aware that it's a very flexible area. So if you're looking for consolidation breaks or some sort of top end break and you're using a trend line to go with it, it's based on what you're drawing, right? It's not necessarily what everyone else is drawing, so there has to be some flexibility around that line if that's how you're gonna go about managing your position or even taking a trade. Something just came in terms of alerts. What is it? Futures rallying up. What just came in? NVIDIA just came in for me in terms of alerts. What do we got? NVIDIA, why? Oh, okay, I see this. It's been a consolidation for the afternoon, and now they're trying to work back into that 260. Remember, we were short initially at 261, took it towards that 58 mark, and then it just went sideways, and now we're looking to push high. We've been here before. Let's see if it sticks around. Futures market back above 50 to the upside. So it does look like some of these stocks that have been sitting near the lows have started to turn around now towards their consolidation highs, which started late in the morning, and now they're pushing on that high. Futures market still has some space to go to the upside before we actually get to a point where it could look like a long. This could just be a little pop to the upside as we get closer to these rebalances. 330 to 350. You get some buy programs stepping in at 350. You get the imbalance figures. That'll be interesting to watch for sure. But I'm not really sold on, or I'm not really bought on this idea of this being a straight up rally right now. That could change later. But for now, it does look like the market wants to head up, maybe into some resistance that we could fade.
Just making sure we have the right amount of orders to go right now, and it looks like we do. So, yeah, all right. I just want to talk about a new position possibly. Well, that's Microsoft, by the way. Blasting up to VWAP. I don't know, man. Microsoft's up on the day. I feel like this is a little bit of a risky proposition here to go short into a market right now that is a little off its 50 period right now. So it's to the upside. The last time we made it this high, we did fall right back down. So I am looking to get a little bit of a short in, and my choice here du jour is AMD. This never really threatened, man. It went all the way to the downside, so we know there's a lot of potential here. I know AMD is up today, so it goes against that theory of relative strength versus weakness, but that's not what I'm concerned about now. AMD has a level that I trust, that we've been up here before, and if I can get something in the 20s, which we just, I have a 23 there, but I must have had that. Is it 23? Oh, no, it's not there. Oh, what? Oh, that sucks. Okay, so I don't. Shoot, that's my bad, because I should have had a fill there. I'll put it at 20 now. I should have had a fill there. That's 100% on me there. I thought I did have an order at 23 right there. I guess I did it. The reason why I know 23 is I just put it there for that number, and I thought we would have got the fill, but I guess I did not have an order there, so that's my bad once again on that, so that's okay. If it does come back up, I'd have loved to have a tick there to show you guys that we shorted something in that move, but we don't, and we're trading as, up front. These are all our trades, so welcome to our trades. Arun hasn't had a trade this afternoon, which is fine. I'm just letting people know.
I mean, that's how I trade. That's the thing, though. Everyone is a different trader, right? It depends on how you trade. Are you very active or are you not? Like for me, I've traded 3 equities, NVIDIA, Shop, and Microsoft. So Shop was a suggestion, or you guys brought that up in the chat. NVIDIA was one of my plays, and then Microsoft, I think I did. Actually, that was the only play I tried to make in the afternoon, where I tried to go for the long at 78.5, and then I didn't like what the futures were doing, so I walked away. And it did rally, but Microsoft did it on its own without the market. So that was actually quite surprising to me, but that's all I got. And then futures, obviously, that's where I make my money. I had a couple of trades this morning. If I can actually get this chart to go back. I don't know why this chart doesn't go back there.
Which one?
This chart, it doesn't scroll back for whatever reason. Yeah, it doesn't scroll back. I don't know. There's something's off with this chart, but this was a trade I had this morning, and that's where I made all my money on the futures actually, which was around 75 long, got out some 80s, 82-ish, and then got some 80s out, and then the market did a pop and drop, and then we missed that 70 short. That was the last entry that I saw that was somewhat legit, right? That 70 break, that would have been nice, and then it came back up, tried to take a shot back towards those 70s here. It was touch and go, it came back in, I walked away from it. So one trade here, one trade here. That's all I've got on the futures. And to be fair, that's all I really need. I just need a few trades throughout the day on the futures here. In terms of equity, you see me 3 trades on the equity side, and we're doing all right. That's all I need. I don't need to be super active, at least the way I trade. And that's the thing where it comes down to trading. What kind of trader are you? You really have to be honest with yourself in terms of what works. And instead of trying to force a style, actually just kind of just fit right in. It's got to fit right into you and your personality. If it doesn't, you're going to have some problems going forward. So just make sure you understand what kind of trader are you. Are you going to try to intraday swing? Are you going to be on top of things and just try to jump on everything? Then you have to figure out what kind of equities you want to trade. Do you want to trade every single thing? Do you want to do large caps, small caps, movers, whatever, right? But you do have to answer all of those questions before you start trading so that you're not just all over the place. So you see me, I'm fairly quiet on this end here, but things could change very quickly as we get towards the end of the day, because that's when volatility picks up, so who knows what I'll do then.
All right, so if Arun does get into any futures trades, we'll let you guys know about that. But again, all these numbers coming at 350, right? So Bradley. All right, so they're all coming out at 350. So we're going to have to wait for those numbers to come out, and then we'll adjust them again. We're going to get an early look at 330, and then we'll adjust it from that point forward. So, all right. So if you guys are playing at home, you may notice that we just got another trade. So we're in another one there right here, and just like Arun said, to each their own. I'm going to short again something that's been working, and it's AMD right here into 60. So again, a trade that we have on. Let's see if it works. We are well aware. We keep talking about all these imbalances and what they mean and what they mean for our trading and all that kind of stuff. So we'll put this on, hopefully be able to get out of this before that 350 number comes through. But again, it looks like we may be able to just do that. I was thinking that these futures, again, had a great opportunity to pull back to this 50 period. They started to do it there. Now it looks like, I mean, I don't know, the last time that we made a high and then took that high out again, I mean, you know, boom, I guess that was a high, but then we had a huge move down and then took it out, and then we kind of went back to that same high in the futures again. So what I'm getting at here is you're looking like you are starting to make, sort of as we go here, lower, lower, lower. Oh man, I gotta watch out for that AMD trade now. As we're starting to go on the futures, starting to make higher lows. So as you go, let's see if we can hold this level right now at 12,665. I mean, now we're just nitpicking, trying to find out what those levels are, but it doesn't really matter. All right, the other position that I have on is Palantir. We are out of the majority of this trade. We have still 35% of Palantir. I'm going to get this out if it takes out this 96, which will still put us in the money on this trade, but not a great one for us on Palantir. Well, no, it's a great one, but if we have to get out, then it won't be that great. You know what? Let's get out if it breaks. Let's get out if it breaks 98. I mean, that's pretty easy to the upside there for PLTR. Other than that, man, everything's been pretty good over here. Let's check out Tesla 180. Let's check out FRC, a name that I know a lot of you are trading as well. So here we go, FRC right now, trying to pull back into, well, it just did pull back into 2250 there. So that could be a level of concern for FRC, but you know, we were still looking at that 21 on a little bit of a longer term time frame right down there. That's 2021 and 18 is that very bottom as we hold out for the weekend. We talked about it before too, that the really the trade that we wanted to look at was a short in here of 25.26. That broke, and as you can see, this is the thing. Trading is tough, don't get me wrong. It's not easy to hold the position against you. It's not easy to look at a chart and say, this is what I like, because there's so many times where things will turn out well and then they'll break on you and you'll be like, oh man, and then you'll leave that strategy. But right there, this 25 break, everybody took that. When it broke 25, we went all the way down to 23.50. These are just minute candles right here. So there's the 25 area, 25 flat. It broke it. We broke it one time before, wicked to 24.70. So no surprise there that this battle is 24.70. When it gave it up, it's an instant move down to $1.30 in one candle, and then that even continued lower down to 22.60. So for me, if you're short, stay short until you break that 25 one more time. So that's the trade there on FRC. Keep on looking at it if you want. We're only a few minutes away now until those imbalances come out, and well, we're gonna get the early look. The big numbers, we had some confusion earlier. The big numbers this week, Arun, remember we were like, are they buys, were they sells? They were sells. And then yesterday, I thought we had a small little buy. I should just jot these down, or somebody should anyways, to where they are. For me, I don't trade the numbers. Like when they come out, they are what they are, and I just hope that I'm not in position, and if I am in position, it's a relatively light one. But today is gonna be a completely different day, and what are we talking about? It's right here. These are all going to get updated. Now they're all updated. This is ARCA, so it's NYSE ARCA. So you're not going to notice any of these names unless CEI or something's on here that we've traded recently. I don't know. But these are all updated at 3 o'clock, and they're all right now buys, buys, buys. So these are all going to change, right? On the NASDAQ and the NYSE, they come out at 350. So I'm actually going to activate the filter and get rid of all the ARCA ones and just show you. So these are some names that have halted throughout the day or whatever today, I guess, that still are left over. I don't know. I'm not going to look at them, but these will all populate, and then we'll see the side. So it's all about the side. The size today, we expect bigger size. So yeah, that's for sure. But we don't know which side these are going to come. Like Arun said, we have certain indications. Arun's gone over those. But as far as like being certain on them, we don't know. So we're going to wait for that to come out, and then it's going to be pretty much anarchy on these markets when it comes out here at 350. So for now, it's a little bit to go, but we're going to wait to see here what happens on these markets into the close.
Yeah, it's always one of those days where, and this is how it's been in the last little bit, is that we have this expectation that the rebalance day is going to be some crazy event, and then it comes out to be nothing. Now, with financials being in the spotlight, I would think that at least the banking portion of this, so you got the adjustments in the regional bank sector in the S&P total. I can't even remember I closed it. The completion index or one of the other indexes where they're doing specific changes to certain names, KeyCorp, Comerica being a couple that I remember, and then SI as well, all being deleted out of those regional bank subsectors. And then you have overall changes in just the market in the big names, right? I mentioned Tesla, Google on the buy side, Tesla on the sell side, Microsoft on the sell side. There's some other changes there I can't remember as well. Not that it matters. It's good to know that stuff, but at the same time, at 350, that's when it really makes a difference, right? When you get that info, they need to be big. And they will be, but they need to stick around. That's the other thing. 350 and then 355. Do I expect a ton of activity? Even if, like, say, Apple or Microsoft come out in a big fashion, or am I expecting really big moves out of Tesla and Microsoft, or even Apple and Microsoft? Not really, because those tend to be offset, right? Those are big index names. They tend to be offset fairly quickly. So they might come out big, they might disappear into nothing after 355, because that's when it really makes a big difference. I think it's going to be all about the small names, all about the small regional bank players, and all about the financials as a whole. How much of an adjustment are you going to see from the small regional players into some of the big names, the Citigroups, the JPMs, the Wells Fargos, and the Bank of Americas, right? Those are going to be absorbing a lot of the flow that's happening through the smaller banks. So I think that's going to be the bigger ones that are going to make a big difference in the rebalance portion of today. So 350, that's when we get that. Sean's gone through it and see if we can't get a move at some point. 350 and then 355 is the floor update, and that's what really makes a big difference, right? Those numbers that come out of 350, they tend to disappear by 355 when you get that second update. So if they stick around after that update, you know something's going on. So we'll pay attention to those names that are still there afterwards. We might see some unusual activity, like unusual to the point. There's been, I think, one or two times I've seen 100 million shares show up on a rebalance day. But that was one time, special event. Doesn't happen. That's in like 16 years. So 16 years times 4. That's 64 quarterly events I've seen. I've seen it maybe once or twice where there was 100 million shares that came on the imbalance. So that was obviously a volatile event, right? Regardless of the stock, that stock cannot handle 100 million shares, and it was one of the big names too. I just can't remember if it was Tesla or Microsoft, but it probably was Tesla. I remember a few. There was Tesla was one. There's Apple, the day that Tesla
was rebalanced itself into the NASDAQ one day.
Yeah, and then they had to do one with Apple, and where Apple was apparently going up too fast, and they had to rebalance that, so they had to buy up. Yeah, it was going up too fast, and they had to rebalance that. It was like a special event there, and they had to then buy up Google and Microsoft and other stuff to offset that. So there was like a big sell on one side and a big buy on the other. But I do think the 100 million I'm talking about was from Tesla a while ago, though.
Yeah,
but,
I thought it was December of 2020. It might have been something like that, or 2021. You'll be able to see, I think it was December with the big rebound. That was one. There you go. That was one of my best trades. I think, there you go. My mic should be on. I don't know if you guys heard me. But yeah, I think it was December for that back in 2021, 2022 right there. So thanks for the update there on the mic as we go. But all right, yeah, so flush down the toilet, which is fine. It's not fine. We don't want to lose, especially for everybody here on the show. But AMD is still my #1 stock on the day, and I still like it, and I like it a lot. But it's not really moving right now. So we just got taken out to the upside on that. So I guess I shouldn't say it's not moving. It is moving, and it's moving the wrong way. We just got blasted out there on the top. But again, the same kind of risk to reward, right? You guys saw me take that, and then we took that fill. So our average price was 38, and we just got out at 64. So about a 25-cent hit. Now it's coming back in. Make sure that you cancel. The one thing that you have to make sure you always do is cancel your bids and offers on trades that you're not in anymore. So often Neil or myself will leave orders out and get filled. You guys see that happen all the time on the show, and they're keystroke errors, right? So it's like, I call it keystroke errors sometimes is when you're moving around and you just put in the wrong fill, you put in the wrong price. That's one type. Another type is simply just I don't know if it's a keystroke error because maybe it's not, but it's leaving orders pending and not canceling them, including stop orders, take profit orders, things like that. And sometimes you leave those out there, then they fill on some craziness. So I just had some AMD bids downside right there that I had to make sure to cancel because we are no longer in that name. Okay, did you go over the number that Brendan gave us?
No.
Okay, I don't even want to say it.
It's the sell side, yeah?
Yeah, it's 340
No.
million. So this is like
all we care is direction.
Yeah, exactly. So it's just a cup of coffee right now. So it's 300. Yeah, you said sell 345 million to sell. And again, that's not anything that we have.
Also not true. No, there's no way it's 300, even on the early look.
Well, I was going to say who we get it from. It's from Financial Juice.
Yeah, but like he needs to get his updates in, right?
Yeah. No. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
With the options,
that's not what it is, right?
Yeah. With the options
early
being,
look.
Yeah, that's the early look. But I'm sure this is going to be like 6 or 7 billion by the time we come out. Because on a day where the options is involved, remember yesterday we were sitting, or the last couple of days we've been getting 4.4 or 4 billion figures. So on a day when options are involved, there's no way. We should all throw out a guess, but I'm going to say somewhere between 7 and 8 billion is where the number is going to be.
I'll go 3 to 4.
3 to 4. I'm saying 7 to 8. I mean, who knows? Watch us be surprised. It'll be like,
Watch it be like 15.
Yeah, like 15 or something.
If it is, man, we got to go. Let's go and just get right in there and right into the futures right away. If that's the play there. It's funny. There's some sort of like I'm on the Peloton and everything like that, and there's some sort of a song. It's a girl. I think it's Gorilla or something like that. It's always like let's go. So it's I don't know. That's in my mind right now. Welcome to the show. I'm Sean. Just stupid things all the time. But that's one other thing right there. So all right. So we did get stopped out of AMD, so that's fine. Let's see what Microsoft is doing. Okay, so a name that I thought would be stronger than AMD, just bouncing and then saying sort of hold my beer to anybody thinking it's a long, as Microsoft comes all the way back in right now. So that's not a great sign for me. But there it is, a nice move upside for Microsoft and AMD. Microsoft respecting that level. Google's been a real runner as of late, and wow, right back down too as well, off that 102. So this is a nice move up. I guess I just got stopped out of AMD, right? As well as everybody else, it seems like on some of these plays, but there it is, a nice move back down to the downside. Glorilla is her name. Glorilla. Okay, my bad.
Is she an instructor or something?
No, it's actually a song.
It's a song.
Like she's a rapper, like a rapper. I don't
so
know.
this song plays on a
yes.
Peloton?
No. So how Peloton works is so you know how you're in spin classes,
okay,
and there's an instructor.
Yeah.
So that's all. So when you're on your Peloton.
Oh, she plays, or the instructor plays it.
The instructor plays it. So it's like
okay.
if you do like I do like the 30-minute sprints or whatever, and so they'll play 7 songs or whatever in that 30 minutes. So it's just whatever. You can choose like, do you want hip hop rides or classical rock, and it's different instructors for both, or sometimes the same ones. Anyways, yeah. I'm all over. My music of choice is hip hop. So, all right, that's that. All right, so what do we want to look at here? I mean, Tesla still around that 180 mark. A lot of these names really haven't moved this afternoon, so that's part of why we're not really doing. Okay, you know what names moved a little bit today for sure, and it's only down 3% right now. Netflix back up to 300. That actually surprises me right now that Netflix is at $300. It was on a nice run this morning. Like look at this. I mean, this was the move yesterday. We talked about where did Meta come from. Look at where did Netflix come from. 304 to 317, straight upside. Of course, a $300 name versus a $200 name, but still very impressive move right there for NFLX yesterday. And look at this pull back down. I'm surprised it's at 300 is what I'm getting at. Like I didn't think we're this low, but look where we just bounced off of. Like talk about sitting there and trying to do the right thing, and you should have bought $300 on the dot is the bottom. I mean, whether or not it's 304, 305, like cents-wise, you're right down there. That's a great take for that rate back to the 200 period. If you were nervous, man, it's at least $1.50 back to the 50 period. So watch out here on an imbalance for Netflix. If that takes 300, then yeah, this might be the one that goes down a lot today. So watch out for Netflix 300 coming in right now. Wow, I didn't even realize that was at 300. I got to put some more scanners for key levels. That might be something I should talk to Michael Noss about. AMD's also blasting. What's up, Brendan?
I showed you this to start at 2 o'clock. Bill Ackman was tweeting about Bank of America, apparently interested in Signature Bank. Here's BAC right now. They just came out and said, no thanks, pass. We're not interested.
Pass. That's all right. That's how things are going right now. But does it really matter right now with about 12 minutes? You know, BAC is going to have some action. BAC is going to have some action here with the. Again, my guess on these rebalances, these financials are going to have some unusually large imbalances. Well, I mean, they're supposed to be big, but with what's been happening recently, I feel like there's going to be a lot more adjustments, especially with some names getting pulled out of the S&P Select, the
index.
Yeah, the small. No, there's a subsector there. There's the banking index, but there's the regional, the S&P regional bank sub-index or something like that. So there's going to be some activity because of that. I feel like a lot of the bigger names are also going to get the activity as well as we move on through. Something that's been running hot and then all of a sudden decides to fall off. Coin. There you go, Coin. What happened to that 76 move all the way up to 76.5? Remember when we took that 75? Yeah, we almost went to 77 on that one move, and then boom, from 76.38 on the high all the way back down to 75 in one shot. So that's what you're getting. Volatility is starting to pick up in some of these names. And if you're in position, shed some risk. If you want to keep the position, if you are going to be flat by the end of the day, it might be smarter depending on how deep you are in the money. If you're deep in the money, then put a trailing stop in just in case the imbalance isn't in your favor. If you are very close to flat, I would walk away from this because at this point, it becomes a toss-up, right? Do you really want a 50-50 trade with imbalances possibly being on the buy side helping you, or on the sell side? At that point, you're going to be living and dying by that imbalance figure, and it's going to be unusually large. So if you're fairly flat, my advice would be to walk away. If you're deep in the money, you can roll the dice a little bit, protect yourself in terms of locking in profit, but at the same time, give yourself a chance. I do that all the time. If I'm deep in the money, I take it into the imbalance. If I'm flat or if I'm relatively close to break even, I just walk away just because I don't want that 50-50 shot. I want to be able to actually lock in something on this trade. So if it's going to cost me something in terms of a 50-50 shot, I don't want it. But if it's risk-free, I'll take it. I'll take that all day. So here we are making a move to the upside, back up now, not on coin, but on the futures. But again, this is going to be what we're going to expect until we get that 350 figure. And that's all we care about with 10 minutes left. That's all we want to know. What is this number going to be? All we know right now is that it's going to be on the sell side. We're making guesses. Sean's around 5 billion. I'm saying somewhere between 7 and 8. I see most of you guys are sitting between that 5 and 7 mark, at least in the chat. One person said 10. I mean, he might be the. We should have had a poll. Yeah, we should have. He might be the guy that's the outlier that gets this. It's like closest without going over, and it's. It could be above 10. That would be surprising. I mean, remember, I talked about this 2 days ago. I think I talked about this. Two-way flow is expected to be about 28 billion or something, which is about 120% bigger than on the S&P 500 side of things. So it's possible that they haven't offset all of that. I mean, it could be a big number, but I think it's going to be, I mean, it really doesn't matter what I think. It's going to be whatever we guess, and we'll find out at the open or at 350 once the numbers come out on the releases. Okay, let me set up. You got anything? Are you going to do anything with that Palantir?
So like, what if that number comes out huge? Is that something that you punch into, or?
Like, how do you punch into it? What do you do with it?
I guess you can't. What are you going to do because the number's already in? Yeah.
What I'm going to care for is, like I've been saying, the regional banks.
Right, the KREs and stuff.
But also the financial sector as a whole. I feel like the BACs and cities are going to grab some volume here going into this rebalance here because of what's been going on.
Yeah, hard to disagree with that, I think. All right, so we'll watch this together, man. We're here. We're all here watching. And look at AMD. What a huge move back up to the upside right now for Advanced Micro. And that is just like taken off to the upside right now. So huge move right there on AMD. And I don't know if it's the rest of them. But let's just check out what the big guy's doing here. Apple possibly as well. Yeah, see? Like it's just AMD. It's just AMD. What's NVIDIA doing right now as well? All right, charts, let's go. All right, well, bad wick, so I can't really see what the heck NVIDIA is doing, but that's not a move like AMD's having right now. Wow, NVIDIA is just so nice. All right, Meta, we've already got out of Meta at 196 and change. Wow, those are good outs for Meta, though, at least, on these shorts to the downside. Some nice outs for Meta right there again, so I'm pretty proud of those outs. And then, yeah, let's just go on with everything, man. Hopefully, we'll be able to get that good fill. I see that right now you have the crystal ball, so yeah, I think the 8-ball should probably give us some good directions.
I saw the chat. I was like, okay, let's actually ask the crystal ball this.
Yeah, let's do that. I think that's a good idea. Today.
All right, let's go to this. All right, crystal ball. What is this imbalance going to be? Is it? How should we ask it? Should it be above a number, or should what? It's not going to tell us what it's going to be.
Well, do we just want to ask it to side?
All right.
I mean, I wish there was multiple levels. I got to download like some sort of a user manual because, like, I wonder if you could ask it one thing then ask it something else, because you could ask it buy or sell, and then it tells you, and then you could ask it less than or greater than 8 billion or.
Okay.
Like, I'll leave it with you.
All right.
Your special guest on the show here.
Okay. 8-ball. Is it going to be a buy or sell? If you tell me buy, I will be very disappointed in you.
Oh God. I feel like that's a little bit too much information.
Only Neil knows again.
Now, because that's a fregaze now, because, like, honestly, it's like even when Neil's here, then I just got to turn and ask him. Like, there's a lot to that 8-ball.
Oh, it says for the number, we were going to say above a certain number. For regardless of the number, it says only if Sean is green.
And I'm green, baby.
Okay, we're thinking 7 billion. Neil knows what the direction is. Sean says it's going to be above 7 billion. So there we go, guys. 8-ball has spoken. This market is rallying up. That 8-ball may know what Sean was thinking there to the upside. If it really does come out of buy, that would be a surprise to me. But I'm going to lean on the sell side. I say about somewhere between 7 and 8. 7.3 billion to sell. That's my random number that I'm going to throw out.
I'm sorry, what did it say? It said green? What did it say?
Only if Sean is green today.
Yeah, okay.
So if you are green today, we're going to get north of 7 billion.
If you asked it that at the beginning of the day, then it would have been a completely different answer. But we are green right now, north of 7 billion.
Yeah, but it knows that you would have gone green by the end of the day. That's how good the 8-ball is.
That 8-ball is real good.
Yeah.
All right, so here we go, man. Let's go, man. The futures are going to be what they are. If you want to look at something, maybe the TQQs for a quick little trade there. The only position, as you can see, that I'm in right now is Palantir. We've been getting out of everything as some of these runs have been incredible. It'd be really interesting to see if AMD's a buy, because this run happened out of nowhere, and I didn't really see that happening there for AMD, and we just checked in on a lot of the different names, and I didn't really see anything right here on all of that. So we'll wait to see what's happening right now. But AMD right now is starting to go back up to the upside and not stopping. So the only trade that we have on is Palantir, and we're going to hold that. We're going to hold that. Our out is up here at 98. What I was just talking about was the TQQ. So this is an a triple levered NASDAQ ETF. So this is going to follow the market here as we get ready for the close, and we're just going to let this go now back up to the upside and watch to see where these key levels are going to come through on the TQQs. So if this is like a monster buy, then I might just punch into this, man. I might just punch into it and then see if we can hold that bid for a bit now, and then we'll see what happens, once the market does finally open up. So we're going to watch out for this right now on the TQQs. I'm just going to punch into it. Hopefully what is, like I said, hopefully what is going to be a big number that's coming out in about 3 or 4 minutes right now. So that's what we're doing here. We'll probably punch into the TQQs and then see what happens on that one. And, we now have, Arun, only 3 minutes to go before this imbalance number, with Meta down 4%, NVIDIA up 2%, which is a good one, AMD up 1.5%. That XPeng, did you see that today? I mean, I know that's not so heavily traded here on the show today at all, but XPeng up 7% there when they missed, I thought, on delivery. So a huge move up initially. Now you're starting to fade out. Look at that level right there for 880 on XPeng. So a nice little move to the downside.
All right.
Yeah, anyways, I was just going to say something to Juan here.
All right.
Did you see anything happen?
In about 3 minutes, just because I said it, it's going to be 7.3 bill to sell, right? 7.3 billion to sell. That's just my educated guess based on absolutely nothing. But we're going to keep an eye on this. This is going to be important now. Regardless of the direction, this is an answer for Alejandro asking if it's a buy, doesn't mean a rally, and if it's a sell, doesn't mean it's going to be a move down. That's a complicated answer because the easy answer is to say it's yes because it puts pressure, but the problem is it depends on where the market is, how the market responds to the individual components. So although the number might be in one big direction, if you have some of the big strong tech names that make up the index as a whole have imbalances in the opposite direction. So overall, let's just say that it's 7 billion to sell, and then you have Apple, Microsoft, and some of the other big techs on the buy side or even flat, it's not going to have the same kind of effect. So it really, it's not a straightforward answer, unfortunately, because you need those big tech names to be on the same page as the rest of the market as a whole as well. So if they're both on the same side, then yeah, you get the big moves, and that's what tends to happen with this market around 350, 355. If you got Apple, we're expecting sell. If Apple's to sell, Microsoft's to sell, you get some tech names, major tech names on the sell side that have weight, then it's going to be a big move to the downside. If you have a big sell, but then you have those few names on the buy side, it's going to be a fairly muted action. And then if you have a buy, then you can do the math on that. But for now, with about a minute left, with this market still looking like it hasn't committed any direction just yet. So as it's creeping towards 40, yeah, it's creeping towards 40. We know that we're sitting not too far away from the lows of the day. I mean, the lows of the day are at 32.5, it seems. So, 9 points, 9 points, I guess that's a lot, but they still need to get through that 40 to get going. And I think if we do get through that 40, this could open up the lows of the day. That's something to watch as we get closer and closer. Less than a minute now there, Sean.
Yeah, okay, so let's just show up our TQQs right here just to see what this NASDAQ wants to do on this number. So right now we're at 2450 or so on this and just kind of hovering down 2%. We're going to see this is all going to populate. The highest should come at the top because we have it sorted. You're going to see a bunch of names. I don't know. The last little while, it's been New York first and then NASDAQ, but that's probably just a feed issue. They both do come out at the same time, right at 350. So we'll see if this imbalance can load up everything right at once. And then Brendan's ear to the screen, I guess, and waiting for that number to come out at 350. And when it does, you're going to see something happen right now. So we're going to get ready to go long here, maybe on the TQQ, probably just wind up marketing it in to see what this does right now. There it is. So the TQQ is not doing anything. We're printing 47s, 46s.
39 million on Lumen.
Oh, I was looking at
LUMN is a buy of 39 million shares. You guys can come to my screen here.
That's probably
there you go, 37 million. So you do the math on these two. 37 plus 75 is north of 100 million shares on the imbalance side for Lumen.
And
then you've got Ford on the sell side.
Well, Ford is a monster sell.
17 million shares plus 40. You're looking at 57 million shares to be sold on Ford, which they've already matched. LUMN is there with 28.75 plus another 75. So you're looking at another 100 million shares on Lumen. So some clear big imbalances, but I don't see any of the big tech names here. So that's probably why the market really didn't get aggressive. No. We've got wow, we were off. Damn, these options really covered it. Wow. 736 million to sell. Here we are thinking 4 billion on random days, maybe a 7 billion. We were off by
7 billion. You said 7 or 8. I said
7.3. I was off by exactly 10 times 10.
We suck.
Oh yeah, we suck. That was a bad estimate.
But you know what? Whatever. We've seen it happen. So, look, it was random. Monday, Tuesday, we were 5 billion.
4. I was like, rebalance day. It's going to be 7 now. They surprised us and said, yeah, no, 736. Still large rebalances. You can see it in these individual names.
They're huge.
They're just not index names.
I went short Ford.
They're not index names. I don't see any index names that are at the top here.
You're going to have to zoom out.
Yeah, you're going to have to go down. All these are, again, we were expecting small cap, mid caps, and you're starting to see small cap, big caps be involved. And there's like, what is this? NYCB, GOS, DCP. There's some big names there. Let's see what sticks around after the 355 turn, because that's when a lot of these will get offset. So, Lumen's there, and so is Mullen. You guys like those names. We'll see how big they are at the.
So the only one I could find there was Meta. So I scrolled all the way down, and it took a while, but 2.6 million shares to sell on Meta. And look what it did to Meta. It absolutely collapsed it. We were at 198, down to 196. So Meta to the downside. I haven't even PayPal sell. So let's wait to see what PayPal did. I would have traded. I went short. I'll show you Ford. We lost on it. PayPal didn't do anything on that sell. You know, well, it did. Went all the way down to 72.50. Like, look what happened right away. So PayPal was at 73. It went down to 72.50 with huge volume. So someone has a program. As soon as it comes out, they just hit these to the sell side. But it was just Meta there was the only real name. IBM may be a name that people are interested. That's a buy side right there for IBM. So that could be looked at. But again, nice move to the buy side on a high buy spike there as well. You know what you could build? You could build a program that takes these wicks. MMAT, no, see? So, no, I'll just keep it up here. So look what I did on Ford. Ford was a sell. I hit it right away. Lost 3 pennies. No, short, yeah, 20, well, it's 24 and a half, but short anyways, out 28. So we instantly lose 3 pennies, and that's it, man. We didn't do anything else. So we can continue to watch this, but yeah, we will temporarily, hopefully, flush ourselves down the toilet on that one. Palantir, though, 5, whatever. I was going to say 5 cents in the money, but it's, you know, I don't really want to talk too much about that, as that's basically a flat trade there for Palantir. I mean, it's not. It's a good one. I mean, look, we made a lot of money, actually, because Palantir is what it is. You know, we actually wind up doing pretty good on Palantir today because of the value of the stock. Let's see where Google's going right now, still flat. Wow, what a disappointing... It's a good thing the boys behind us got those beers. They can celebrate something at least at St. Patrick's Day today, but I don't know if there's going to be anything at the close. There definitely isn't going to be for me unless something sticks. So at 355, we're going to wait. So at 355, these are going to flip or change a little bit here as there's more interest. Like, look at Mullen. So Mullen was 81 million plus 12 million. So the print on Mullen alone, what's Mullen done today? Well, 300 million. So the print on Mullen alone is going to be this added together. So 93, 94 million on Mullen's going to come. This LUMN must be a buyout or something, or something's happening, because that's only done 50 million today. So if you're going to look for a trade to maybe make, this has only done 50 million, and it's going to pair off a Hyundai. So that's going to come a huge print. The stock probably can't hold it. So look for a little bit of a move up in LUMN today. And then other than that, man, honestly, man, I don't recognize any of these names. So
they're all like,
I mean, there's
super
Key.
cheap
No,
ones.
Key is good. This is the bank.
That's a bank, yeah.
So right there. So Key Bank right there, Key Corp. That could be one, but that's a bid. And you know what? That's holding it. Like, it's not doing anything.
HBAN is also there, and that's on the buy side too at 5.8 million shares.
Right.
HBAN's got some volume. It's
is that a bank? Why don't I know what that is?
It's Huntington.
Oh, Huntington Bank. Yeah, okay.
We got 6 seconds. We'll get the update. Forget about what I'm saying. This matters more.
Forget about what I'm
saying. This matters more. The update matters more right here at 3:55. Let's go. Give me the refresh on the feed. There you go. LUMN's gone. Ford's gone. They've already paired off. LUMN is there, but Mullen's gone. It's down to 11 million shares. Wish is now there. I don't know what Wish was doing.
Wish is
early.
8 cents or something.
Wish is, forget that. What else is here?
Oh, CVX is a big one. There's CVX, 4.5.
There you go. Let's pay attention to that.
Yeah, so look at CVX. Look at CVX. CVX is the trade. CVX just tanked right down to the downside right there. So this is starting to go right now. CVX, downside pressure on this name with a decent imbalance. We'll go short against 151. If it takes 151, we'll get out of CVX, and it might do that real quick. That was a big imbalance there for CVX. Look at it push it down. CVX just dropped in one candle, $1 there. So there it is right there with a big sell imbalance for CVX. Let's see. I mean, if the market can hold it, I don't know, 5 million and change shares downside right now for CVX. We're short at 78. Let's put something at 50. We'll see if we can bank out on this imbalance right now. But look at it, man. It's just dancing around. These guys are too smart. Like, this is going to pair off, and then we're going to be like, there it is. So we're out already. So that was a small trade. Again, about 30 cents, 25 cent hit there on CVX. Now it might pull back down. I'm not really seeing anything at all. So, I mean, I thought that was a big move. Look at that. Look at that gap down there from 152 all the way. Like, that went to 150.60. So, what could have been a good trade there for CVX, still absolutely nothing. We'll give back a little bit there on that. Now it's coming back in again. We'll give back a little bit on that, but CVX right now, nice. You got me there. We were short at 82 and out at 96, but here it is. Nice move down. Doesn't look like it's going to do anything. So CVX was the big one for me. I'll keep my eye on CVX. Maybe we can trade it if that gets a little bit better into the close for that. But for right now, I'm going to hold out. I'm just going to take this for a second. I'm going to double check, unless you're okay with everything.
Yeah.
I'm just going to double check my keys to make sure I have a closing order type for the NYSE, because we've had so many different versions. I just want to make sure this is still on board.
All right, I'm just going through the board here. Some other names that are still on the board that I want to pay attention to. NYCB, buy side. It's not a big solid name, but 6 million shares on a stock that's done 20 million, and the book is thick enough, you might be able to squeeze a few cents out of this. I mean, if you take a decent amount of shares, a few cents is all you need, really. So keep an eye on this one. If it sticks around, 6.9 is a pretty good imbalance for this stock because of what it's done on the day as it goes into the end. This is where things can get spicy. I expect the futures market to do something crazy in the final minute. Direction-wise, I have no clue, but I do expect some volatility movement, because this is when the names that are still around, obviously we haven't seen any big index names, but the names that are still around that are on the index side, probably much smaller further down the list here, I expect some movement there, so that should push the futures market in a direction as well. Whichever direction, who knows.
All right,
but just be prepared for that kind of volatility in the final little bit. Obviously, this has been a lot more muted than we would have expected, and this is what's been happening over the years, right? There used to be a time when this was just nuts, and now they've gotten smarter with the rebalancing portion of it, where it's not all done on one day, it seems, and they're much more quieter about it. So now you get these random names that have these imbalances, but all the big index names that will move the market, they're not involved in as big a way as much as you would have expected. In the last few days, though, we saw 4 billion, not 4 billion imbalances, but like in terms of individual stocks, we had like 4 million shares to, was it to the buy side on one of the index names? There was like Apple, Microsoft, they were all involved in the last few days, but nothing today, it seems. So we are going to make a move here towards the end. Into the end there, Sean.
Yeah, I was just watching CVX. It's still, I mean, I'm fine. There's only a minute left right now. Oh, there it is. It's gone. I was trying to watch it there by highlighting it, and I don't see it anymore. So there's the rip up for CVX. So it definitely paired off. And what that means is it's gone. Like, there it is right now. So now it's only 1 million shares to sell. So the book can probably handle that. It's done 12 million today. It still could be a sell. It still could be a sell into the close. We'll find out where that closing print is right there as we continue to watch it. A little bit violent now with only 30 seconds to go. We need a bell ringer somewhere or not. It doesn't matter if we get one or not. You don't have to worry about it, Sharif, if you're busy, but we only now have 20 seconds to go. We can look at this. We'll see if there's anything that pops up here, and we can quickly go over to it. Sometimes you'll see all of a sudden like Meta's there as a seller or something. It's not. But that just could be something that's there right away with only 10 seconds now to go. Thank you, Sharif, for doing that. We're getting ready to go. There he comes, running over. 6-5, a little bit of an uneventful day here. 2 and 1. All right, there we go, guys. Sorry it wasn't a little bit better there for the close for us anyways. I hope the guys in the back were okay. But look, if you went long on CVX, if you just come over to my screen right there, like it was a sell. So I don't know where it went, but it was a sell of what, 1.8 million or something? Look at that move all the way back up, right back to where we were even before it even started. Meta was also a big sell as well on that. So we can watch out for Meta. Meta with a big sell, that continued to make a move down. So Meta right there closing at the day's low, not a healthy move in the last couple minutes there for Meta. But again, that was falsified by the imbalance, remember. So we'll see if that happens. NASDAQ actually held out when Meta went the other way. Let's see where AMD finishes the day, 98. So, all right. Pretty uneventful for us here. I hope all of you traders that were looking at the imbalances learned a little bit there, and I think Arun nailed it, and we both nailed it on the head exactly when we talked about maybe some of this was already done. They didn't save the guns, I guess, for the close. There's a lot of size on there, but like we said, it was already paired off sort of when it came to market, and then the buys and the sells created really no movement in the futures. We've sat here before and seen huge moves in the futures, and it doesn't look like that was the case here today. So, all right, Brendan, what a week and what a tumultuous one. And we're back next week with some more fire, as it's a big week next week, Brendo. In case you didn't know, Brendan knows, but it's Fed, and Fed's coming pretty strong.
Yeah, Jay Powell on standby for next week. Here's how things wrap up for today anyways. NASDAQ down 0.75 for the composite, about 0.5% there for the 100. Still about 5.8% positive on the week, however. So we do give a little bit back, but all is well. 1.2 and 1.1 there for the S&P and the Dow. Both as well, I can confirm, positive for the week also, guys. So it was a green week, even though today was kind of red.
day. It's next week.
Yeah, Wednesday.
Next Wednesday. That's the day that everyone's looking forward to. That's the day that volatility is going to be back. Today was a letdown, sure. You know that Wednesday will not be a letdown in terms of volatility. So expect it, be prepared for it, take a breather, go into the weekend. Hey, it's St. Patrick's Day. If you're a beer drinker, get that green beer, and then just take it easy and be rested and be ready to go for next week. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, definitely be ready for that.
Straight water, of course. Big shout out to Neil. Thank you, Arun, as well. Neil, today, unfortunately, the Jays just lost 8-1. I wonder if he was at that game. I hope not. I hope he's enjoying the beach rather than sitting there getting the Rays and watching an 8-1 drubbing by the Philadelphia Phillies. But again, thanks again, Arun, for coming through, man. Big save. And again, a lot of love for Arun in the chat. If you're more of a position trader, Arun didn't put anything on in the afternoon because nothing hit, and that's completely fine. Sitting on your hands is a strategy. We were both excited for the close there, Brendo, but unfortunately, was anything coming through on Financial Juice or just...
No, I mean, it was small to begin with, and it ends small as well. So, yeah, a bit of a nothing all around.
You going out tonight, or what's the story for in Wickens' house?
Going to be quiet. There's this weird thing going around in here, and I feel like there's something happening, so I'm going to go home and sleep all weekend.
That sounds like a plan.
Sounds exciting.
Yeah, but that's a straight-out plan. I like that plan. I mean,
well, you guys are so exciting. But no, I'm sure there'll be other stuff planned for sure for you guys. But get better, bro. Don't get better, Brendan. Don't get sick first. Get those echinacea pills and get those going. We cannot miss Brendan next week. But it should be the three of us back. Neil, myself, and Brendan next week. Sharif as well. Luca, everybody's going to be here. Prad, get better as well. Fahad, get better. Pardon? Luca's off next week. So who's filling in? Good to know. Okay, here we go, guys. We're getting ready to rock and roll. Luca's off next week, so someone else will be there in the midday show. But for everybody, man, happy St. Patrick's Day, happy Triple Witching Day, and enjoy your weekend no matter what you're doing. My bride is on her way. I'm excited for a big weekend. Maybe it's some Cocaine Bear action on Saturday night. And tonight it's Hamilton. Should be a good play for those of you that have seen it. I'm excited. All right, it's 4:05. We got places to go that ain't here. So from everyone here at Trader TV Live, a big thank you to everybody, and we'll see you 8:30 on Monday. Ciao.